Alright, let's see if anybody shows up. There we go. Alright, guys. Let's see how this works. Just letting people filter in. Cool. Ah, so excited. I love this game. I've played it once, about, who knows, maybe 5 years ago, but it was the original version, and basically had to emulate it off of a, I don't even remember what program I used, but it was not very useful. I mean, it allowed me to play, but I couldn't defeat the final boss because anything that happened with particle effects would surreptitiously cause the game to crash at the final boss. So that, I've never had the experience actually taking down the final boss. And in this game you don't even have to fight it, which is amazing. For people who don't know this game, it seriously is one of my favorites. The philosophy involved, the fact that you don't have to fight things, is astounding. From 90... What year did it come out? I think it was early 90s. Yep, 1999. And the fascinating thing is this game is actually based in the Dungeons and Dragons setting. And just not a lot of people talk about this sub-genre, I suppose, if you'd call it that. It's very, very captivating to me. Just the aesthetic. It's very grim. Doesn't pull any punches. That's for sure. Which I love. So, without further ado, let's get this started. Preparing to launch. Yes, I am not professional. Namely because this thing starts out immediately with a... Now this is the enhanced edition, so a lot of settings I've put on are basically the... Rarely do I actually use the enhanced edition version of settings. The music is amazing. I'm checking if it's logging it. Yes, it is. Good. Gameplay. Yes, there is gore. Heal and rest. Frame rate. Nope, that's good. Very nice. You can actually replay the film versions. Oh, and there's the credits. Back. Oh. Really, they did such an amazing job at this game. They don't even have the same... It's not a typical format either. You have to mouse over things to actually figure out what they mean. But we'll go with a new life. This is the character generation screen. And yes, this uses the Dungeons & Dragons stat schematic. So a score of... Let's see, 9. I can't even go further down. Let's see, 13 is above average. Exceptional is 15, and 18 is like the absolute max. Or 17, actually. Let's go with exceptional intelligence. Dexterity. Average. Let's go with 11 for that. Charisma. 11. Constitution. Wisdom. Above average for wisdom, and 12 charisma, and let's do 12 con, and we shall be the nameless one, because that is canon. Let's do it.
Corpse, or you putting the blinds on the dusties? I thought you were a deader for sure.
Who are you? Who am I? How about you start? Who are you? I don't know. I can't remember. You can't remember your name? Well, next time you spend a night in this burg, go easy on the bub. Name's Mort. I'm trapped in here too. Trapped? Yeah, since you haven't had time to get your legs yet, here's the chant. I've tried all the doors, and this room is locked tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in... where? What is this place? It's called the Mortuary. It's a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. The Mortuary? What, am I dead? Not from where I'm standing. You got scars aplenty, though. Looks like some Burt painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place the laugh before whoever carved you up comes back to finish the job. Scars. How bad are they? Well, the carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back... Mort pauses. Look, say, looks like you got a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. What do they say? Looks like you come with directions. Mort clears his throat. Let's see. It starts with... I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of Styx wash, but you need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farad can fill you in on the rest of the chant, if he's not in the dead book already. Farad? Does it say anything else? Yeah, there's a bit more. Mort pauses. Let's see. It goes on. Don't lose the journal or we'll be up the sticks again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farad. No wonder my back hurts. There's a damn novel written there. As for that journal I'm supposed to have with me, was there one with me while I was lying here? No, you were stripped of the skins when you arrived here. Besides, looks like you got enough of a journal penned on your body. What about Farad? Do you know him? Nobody I know. But then again, I don't know many people. Still, some Burk's got to know where to find Farad. Once we get out of here, that is. How do we get out of here? Well, all the doors are locked, so we'll need the key. Chances are, one of the walking corpses in this room has it. Walking corpses? Yeah, the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are dumb as stones, but they're harmless, and won't attack you unless you attack first. Is there some other way? I don't want to kill them just for a key. What, you think it's going to hurt their feelings? They're dead. But if you want a bright side to this, if you kill them, at least they'll have a rest before their keepers raise them up to work again. Well, alright. I'll take one of them down and get the key. Well, before you do that, arm yourself first. I think there's a scalpel on one of the shelves around here. Alright, I'll look for one. One last thing. Those corpses are as slow as molasses, but getting punched by one of them is like being kissed by a battering ram. If they start getting an edge on you, remember you can run, and they can't. Use it to keep some distance if you need to recover. Alright, thanks for the advice.
I'm gone.
Alright, and the best thing about this game is you can read over things that are in the environment. The slab is covered with dried blood and other remains. These barrels contain a murky liquid. It smells like a cross between vinegar and formaldehyde. Oh, hello. Looks like someone is in the middle of dissecting this corpse. Let's see. Let's go look over in this shelf. Ah, bandages. Oh, those will be useful. Used for staunching minor wounds. Useful. Oh. A system of rails is running through this whole room. It looks like the slabs in the room can be moved around on these rails. Ah, scalpel. There we go. See, it looks like it's seen a lot of use. Oh. Oh, hello. All right, you found the scalpel. Now go get those corpses. And don't worry, I'll stay back and provide valuable tactical advice. Maybe you could help me, Mort? I will be helping you. Good advice is hard to come by. I meant help in attacking the corpse. Me? I'm a romantic, not a soldier. I just get in the way. When I attack this corpse, you better be right there with me, or you'll be the next thing that I plunge this scalpel in. Alright, I'll help you. I'm glad we understand each other. Time to introduce these corpses to the second death, then. Oh, man. Ooh, inventory screen. Here we go. We got tattoo slot, an eyeball. This is your eye. It looks like it's seen better days. Oh, it's bad. Chest, left ring, wrist, another tattoo, hand, right ring. And currently I am a fighter. Let's see. Place that. He even adds it into the visual. That's impressive. Alright, buddy. Ooh, we can talk to the zombies. This shambling corpse looks like it has been dead for several years. The skin along its forehead is peeled back, revealing its chalk-white skull. Someone has chiseled the number 569 into the exposed bone. I'm looking for a key. Do you happen to have one? Chief, they can't hear you, alright? They're dead. But you're dead, and you're talking to me. Yeah, but I'm special. Death couldn't kill my zest for life. These corpses here? Mort rolls his eyes. They probably didn't have much personality to begin with. I see. Look, Chief, watching you trying to swap the chant with these corpses isn't doing much for my morale. Let's leave the corpse talk for the barmies, alright? Alright, let's go. Alright. Hello? Anybody in there? There we go. What do you got? Oh, more bandages. Okay, fine. Ooh, anything in here? Nothing. Ah, like the other corpses in this room, this one is covered in blood and completely gutted. And nothing in there. Dried blood. Oops. I forgot. You do not use the WASD keys. And currently, I am true neutral. They don't tip the scales between the two and tend to oppose anyone who does. Let's say hello to you. This corpse's head lolls back and forth on its shoulders. Judging from the angle of the neck, it looks like this man may have been hanged. The number 825 has been painted on the side of his head. See if he's... This corpse is carrying nothing, but you happen to notice its hands are heavily bandaged. The bandages might be useful if the corpse was disposed of first. Guess you don't have the key. You don't happen to know which of your other corpse friends has the key out of his place? Chief. Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
No, critical miss. Yeah, there we go. Nope, more bandages. That's fine. Swap the chant with this bud. This corpse stops and stares blankly at you as you approach. The number 782 is carved into his forehead, and his lips have been stitched closed. The faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from its body. The corpse looks like the one with the key. It is holding it tightly in its left hand, its thumb and forefinger locked around it in a death grip. Looks like you'll need to hack the corpse's hand off to free the key. I need that key, corpse. Looks like you're not long for this world. Come on. Ow. That hurt. What are you doing? You're not supposed to hit me back. Come on. Mort. Mort, help me. Oh, there we go. Okay, I didn't need your help after all. Haha. Preparation room key. The head of this bronze key has been twisted around itself several times so that it resembles a screw. If Mort is to be believed, it locks one of the doors in the preparation room. Alright, let's see where we can go. Oh, the formaldehyde and vinegar bottles. How about this door? Is this the right one? Nope. That is not the right door. Looks like this is our only option. Come on, Mort, put that key in between your teeth and screw. Oh, hello. Psst. Some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the Femmes. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. I don't think you mentioned it before. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustman. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an adult bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everybody should die. Sooner, better than later. I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everybody's got to die. Sooner, better than later. You think the corpses you've seen are happier in the dead book than out of it? Where did they all come from? Death visits the plains every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. Before you said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses. Why? What? Are you serious? Look, Chief, these dead chits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys, no lopping their limbs off, things like that. Last chance? What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead. We're dead. See where I'm going? Eh? Huh? You can't be serious. Chief, we already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Wait, didn't you say before that I'm not dead? Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am. And from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here. Mort starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers would have to part with them first, and that's not likely. Alright, I'll try and remember that. Look, Chief, it's obvious you're still a little addled after your kiss with death, so I got 2 bits of advice for you. 1, if you got questions, ask me, alright? If I have any questions, I'll ask you. 2nd, if you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so you don't forget. If I had that journal I was supposed to have with me, I'd do that. Start a new one then, Chief. No loss. There's plenty of parchment and ink around here to last you. Alright, it couldn't hurt. I'll make a new one then. Use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly, who I am, use it to refresh your memory. Alright, I got it. Let's go.
Updated my journal.
Hello. The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. Her skin is paper thin, almost wispy. It's like someone draped a sheet of cobwebs across her frame. The number 594 has been scratched onto her forehead with a charcoal pencil. So, doing anything later? The corpse continues to stare at you. Bye. Psst. You see the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see that? The way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? You mean that blank-eyed beyond-the-grave stare? What, are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me. Wanted you to go away, maybe. She was obviously too distracted by me to pay attention to some stupid bobbing head with a big mouth. You? Yeah, right. Trust me, chits beyond the grave don't care about all that physicality, and I've got a body, and I'm all scarred and tough-looking. They want guys with spirit. That's me, Chief. You? Corpses like you are as common as copper. Whatever, Mort. Let's go. God damn it. Bloodstains, rust, and other remains cover the surface of this metal slab. It is much larger than most of the other slabs and is sitting on a platform that allows it to be rotated. Yep, same thing. The left side of this woman's face looks as if it was caved in with a club, and her flesh sags in bruised, swollen clumps over her ruined skull. The number 626 has been stitched onto the corpse's right cheek, just below the eye. Nasty wound you've got there. Hello. This corpse is lumbering along a triangular path. Once it reaches one of the corners of the triangle, it pauses, then turns and staggers towards the next corner. It has 965 tattooed on the side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares at you. Huh. Looks like someone forgot to tell this sod to stop walking the rule of 3s. What do you mean? These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task and they forgot to tell him. Who gives them their commands? Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labor, after all. I see. What was that you said before? About the rule of 3s?
Updated my journal.
Huh? Well, the rule of 3s is one of those laws about the planes. About things tending to happen in 3s. Or everything's composed of 3 parts. Or there's always 3 choices, and so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash, if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. It's great talking to you. Ah, another door. Pardon me, just moving my glasses. Anybody? Oh, nothing. Let's check this one. Ooh, the receiving room logbook. This huge logbook lists mortuary procedures in a tight, crabbed script. All shells entering the mortuary are to be delivered to the receiving room and logged with the scribe on duty before being embalmed or cremated. The records are to be checked to determine if the shell is one of the contracted, and if so, do not prepare the shell. Move the shell to one of the preparation rooms, contact the scribe on duty, and notify him that a contracted shell is to be raised. Be certain that a shell is thoroughly stripped of its possessions before being sent to the preparation rooms. The contracted workers are intended for simple manual labor and do not have the capacity to search and strip a shell. The faction is not responsible for any possessions lost or items stolen by collectors who have brought the shells to the mortuary. The shell's possessions are to be stored in the receiving room until an initiate can be sent to claim them. Please catalog all possessions in the logbook. Following this list is thousands of entries of bodies that have been sent to the receiving room. As you flip through the rest of the book, however, you notice the last page has been cut out. That's curious. Ooh, copper commons and fist irons. Hello. This crude iron bar is designed to slip over the fist, with a thick portion resting in the palm and the iron ring facing outward over the knuckles. While wearing these fist irons, a single punch can shatter someone's jaw. Damn. Hello, zombie worker. How are you? The number 1201 has been inked on the forehead of this corpse, and the ink has run down its eyes, cheeks, and jaw. As you follow the ink tears down the corpse's face, you notice it has run into the stitching, sealing the corpse's lips, and has caught on what looks like the corner of a note stuck in the corpse's mouth. Huh. Well, maybe it'll be something interesting. Try and pull it out. The note has mingled with the ichor in the zombie's mouth. If you tried to pull the paper out through the cross stitches, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking up the corpse to get at it looks like it will destroy the note. You'll need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches before removing the note. Thankfully, we have ourselves a very accurate tool. Use their scalpel. You deftly slice through the stitches sealing the corpse's mouth, and the jaw sags open. You carefully pull the note from the corpse's mouth. Despite the condition of the paper, the writing on it still appears legible. Leave it in peace. Thank you. That's a random piece of paper out of a zombie's mouth. This corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpses lying there. The number 396 is carved into its left temple, and its lips are stitched closed. You notice the corpse is carrying a roll of bandages in its hand. The bandages look useful. Mind if I borrow those bandages? The corpse continues to stare at you. Try and take the bandages. You snake your hand out and take the roll of bandages through the corpse's hand. The corpse doesn't even seem to notice. It continues going through the motions of bandaging the bodies. We just stole his useful items. Oh well. Note from Corpse 1201. This is a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. It looks like it was sewn into the corpse's mouth by accident. Despite its condition, the writing is legible. Please, to whatever Dustman reads this, I beg of you. I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I am prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will cremate my body rather than raising it. I have arranged for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Let my contract number serve as the key. It looks like the corpse is too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. It looks like directions for folding the parchment into a strange pattern. We can interact? What is this? This foul-smelling note has a strange-looking diagram inscribed beneath the writing. It looks as if it's instructing you to fold the corners of the note so their points touch the center. There's a series of strange marks on each corner. 1 mark on the upper right, 2 marks on the lower right, 3 marks on the lower left, and no marks on the upper left. A fortune puzzle. I love those little paper things that we would fold up as kids. So, series of strange marks, 2 marks, be 1201. So, 1 on upper right, 2 lower right, 0 upper left, and yeah, as you fold the upper left inward to the center, you watch as the upper right unfolds by itself, resuming its normal position. Put that thing back where it came from. As you fold the upper right corner back to the center, the lower left corner mirrors the action, until all the corners touch in the center. You watch for a moment, and the corners of the paper raise up, turning the note into a small, 4-sided paper pyramid. We'll tell you we have 1,500 children and live for 20 years. You peel back the sides of the pyramid, and the paper disintegrates to dust. Inside is a small, triangle-shaped earring. It catches the light and gleams brightly. That's interesting. You receive the small earring from folding a note in the mouth of one of the walking corpses in the mortuary. It's a beautiful earring, but despite its beauty, all it seems to do is remind you how strange this world you've woken up in is. Sadly, I have no ability to identify. I could either use a spell or a scroll, and I have neither. It will have to wait. Wait, oh no, are you 12-1? Yep, you're 12-1, sorry about that. And sorry about slicing the stitches. Got a floppy mouth now. This corpse is shuffling from slab to slab. Oh, yes, and I already talked to you. Okay. We will ignore that giant friggin' book in the corner there and finish talking to these zombies. The smell of formaldehyde emanating from this corpse is particularly strong. It smells like it was applied recently, and with good reason. This corpse appears to be in an advanced stage of decay. Her jaw is missing, and some of the flesh is slid off of her skull, revealing the number 1072 chiseled into the bone. I think this one's seen better days. The corpse does not respond to your voice. The fact that it has no jaw may have something to do with it. Either that, or it simply has nothing to say. Anything in this pile? Nope. Let's check here. Nothing. If anybody has any audio problems, let me know. This body's completely covered by a rough, dark cloth. This gate looks sealed shut. There's no lock or other means of opening it. And one last zombie. This working corpse has the numbers 1094 carved into its forehead. Its mouth has been sewn tightly shut, and the chemical reek of fresh formaldehyde hangs in an overpowering cloud around it. Despite the pallid, sunken features and lifeless, milky eyes, it is clear that this was once a handsome young man. Let me just take a quick sip here. Good old Kashir. Hello. Who are you? This scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal gray eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Greetings. Whoa, Chief, what are you doing? I was going to speak with a scribe. He might know something about how I got here. Look, rattling your bone box with Dusties should be the last thing. Before Mort can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down, and the scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we can leave this place, the laugh, the better. Before Mort can finish, the scribe's gray eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He places down his quill, but I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Restless one? Do you know me? Know you? Aye. There's a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I have never known you, restless one. No more than you have known yourself. He is silent for a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Who are you? As always, the question, and the wrong question, as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath. I am Dahl. Perhaps you can answer some questions for me.
Updated my journal.
What do you wish to know? What is this place? You are in the mortuary, restless one. Again, you have come. Before he could finish, Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing. After a moment, he calms himself, and his breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. This is the waiting room for those about to depart the shadow of this life. Tell me about the mortuary. This is where the dead are brought to be interned or cremated. It is our responsibility as Dustman to care for the dead, those who have left this shadow of life and walk the path to true death. Dahl's voice drops in concern. Your wounds must have exacted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. True death. True death is non-existence, a state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion. Dahl coughs, then gives a ragged breath. A state of purity. Sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that? Is it worse than remaining in this shadow of what life once was? I think not. Shadow of life. Yes, a shadow. You see, restless one, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die. And here we remain, trapped, caged, until we can achieve the true death. What makes you think this life isn't real? What makes you think this life is real? Look inside yourself. Do you not feel something lacking? Dahl shakes his head. This is a purgatory. There is only sorrow here, misery, torment. These are not the elements that make up life. They are part of the cage that traps us in this shadow. I think your fatalism has gotten the better of you. Those elements are part of life, but not the whole of it. Dahl shakes his head. Passions carry weight. They anchor many to the shadow of life. As long as one clings to emotion, they will be continually reborn into this life, forever suffering, never knowing the purity of true death. I see. How does one escape the cycle of rebirth and achieve this true death? Kill your passions. Strip yourself of the need for sensation. When you are truly cleansed, then the cycle of rebirth will end and you achieve peace. Dahl sighs. It sounds like a death rattle in his throat. Past these shells of ours, past the eternal boundary, lies the peace that all souls seek. The eternal boundary. The boundary between the shadow of this life and the true death. How did I get here? Dahl snorts in contempt as if he finds the memory repugnant. Your moldy chariot ferried you to the mortuary, restless one. You would think you were royalty based on the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon the cart that carried you. I arrived here on a cart.
Updated my journal.
Yes. Your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids with the rest of the mountain of corpses. Dahl breaks into another violent fit of coughing, finally catching his breath minutes later. Your seneschal, Farad, was, as always, pleased to accept a few moldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the mortuary gate. Doesn't sound like you like Farad much. There are some I respect, restless one. Dahl takes a ragged breath and steadies himself. Farad is not one of them. He wears his ill repute like a badge of honor and takes liberties with the possessions of the dead. He's a knight of the post, cross-trading filth of the lowest sort. Knight of the post. A thief. All Farad brings to our walls comes stripped of a little less of their dignity than they possessed in life. Farad takes whatever he may pry from their stiffening fingers. Does Farad take anything from me? Dahl pauses, considering. Most likely. Are you missing anything? Especially anything of value? His voice dips as he frowns. Not that Farad would take exception to anything that wasn't physically grafted to your body, and sometimes even that's not enough to give his greedy mind pause. I'm missing a journal. A journal. If it was of any value, then it is likely it lies in Farad's hands. Where can I find this Farad? If events persist as they have, restless one, you have a much greater chance of Farad finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in this time. Nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dahl's tone. Do not seek out Farad, restless one. I am certain that it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser and Farad a few coppers richer. Accept death, restless one. Do not perpetuate your circle of misery. I have to find him. Do you know where he is?
Updated my journal.
Dahl is silent for a moment. When he finally speaks, he seems to do so reluctantly. I do not know under which gutterstone Farad lairs at the moment, but I imagine that he could be found somewhere beyond the mortuary gates, in the hive. Perhaps someone there will know where you can find him. Can you tell me how to get out of here? The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than Dustman pass. Dahl breaks into a ragged cough, then continues. One of the guides by the front gate has a key to it, but it is unlikely he will open it for you unless you are extremely persuasive. I had other questions. Do you know who I am?
Updated my journal.
I know scant little of you, restless one. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you and who now lie in our keeping. Dahl sighs. I ask that you no longer ask others to join with you, restless one. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own. There are others who have journeyed with me, and they're here?
Updated my journal.
Do you not know the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I thought that she had traveled with you in the past. Dahl looks like he's about to start coughing again, then catches his breath. Am I mistaken? Where is her body? The Northwest Memorial Hall on the floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plaques. Mayhap that will revive your memory. You said there are others. Who else is here? Doubtless there are, but I know not their names, nor where they lie. One such as you has left a path many have walked, and few have survived. Dahl gestures around you. All dead come here. Some must have traveled with you once. I find no fault with your reasoning. I had other questions. What do you do here? I am a scribe, a cataloger of all the shelves that come to Mortuary. Dahl coughs again, then takes a deep breath. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post. You say that I've been here more than once. How is it that the Dustmen don't recognize me?
Updated my journal.
I am the one that catalogs the shelves that come to our halls, restless one. Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing, then steadies himself. Only I see the faces of those that lie upon our slabs. The mark of your existence lies safe with me. You sound ill. Are you not well? I am close now to the true death, restless one. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the peace I have been seeking. I tire of this mortal sphere. Dahl gives a ragged sigh. The plains hold no more wonders for one such as I. There might be some way I could help you. I do not wish to live forever, nor live again, restless one. I could not bear it. So be it. Farewell. As you turn to leave, Dahl speaks. Know this. I do not envy you, restless one. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point, your path will return you here. Dahl coughs, the sound rattling in his throat. It is the way of all things, flesh and bone. Then perhaps we will meet again, Dahl. Well, Mort. Oh, yeah, you're there. Okay, good. Where'd you go, buddy? Hello, zombie. This huge corpse is standing silently in the corner of the room, facing the wall. He looks to have been a heavy-set man in his early years, and judging by the condition of the body, he died only recently. The freshly stitched number on his forehead reads 1664. This corpse looks like it is serving as a librarian, for it is carrying a huge stack of books in its arms. Examine the books. The books appear to be old mortuary ledgers, none of them of any particular interest. As you search through the texts, however, you notice a loose page folded between two of the books. You are suddenly struck with the feeling that someone tucked it there to hide it. The page doesn't look like it belongs with the ledgers. It looks like it belongs in a logbook. The tear is clean, as if with a knife, so you suspect the page was removed on purpose. Read through it. You take a moment to read through the page. It's a list of dead bodies brought to the mortuary and logged in the receiving room. All the entries appear to be recent arrivals. Leave the corpse in peace. Good talking to you, bud. Let's open up the next one. Oh, the stench coming from this corpse is truly nauseating. Someone split open this man's chest and has yet to remove the internal organs. And nothing in there. More bandages. Oh, this desk is covered with spools of thread, strips of cloth, rusty instruments, stained vials, and bloody sheets. And nothing in there. Nothing there. Nope, nothing there. And nothing there. The bandages covering this body are soaked with blood. Even though the corpse looks several days dead, blood still trickles from its wounds. This disemboweled corpse proves how far you can physically stretch flesh without tearing it. Hello. You see a slight young woman with pale features. The sunken flesh around her cheeks and neck makes her appear as if she is starving. She seems intent on dissecting the corpse in front of her, prodding the chest with a finger. Greetings. The woman does not respond. She seems too intent on the body in front of her. As you watch her work, you suddenly notice her hands. Her fingers are talons. They are darting in and out of the corpse's chest cavity like knives, removing organs. I said, "Greetings." The woman makes no response. I think the dusty chit might be a bit short of hearing, Chief. Let's lay off, shall we? What's wrong with her hands?
Updated my journal.
She's a tiefling, Chief. They got fiend blood in their veins, usually because some ancestor of theirs shared knickers with one demon or another. Makes some of them addled in the head. And addled looking, too. Tap the woman, get her attention. The woman jumps and whips around to face you. Her eyes are rotting yellow, with small orange dots for pupils. As she sees you, her expression changes from surprise to irritation, and she frowns at you. Greetings. She doesn't seem to have heard you. She leans forward, squinting, as if she can't quite make you out. Whatever's wrong with her eyes must make her terribly nearsighted. You. She clacks her taloned fingers together, then makes a strange motion with her hands. Find thread and embalming juice. Bring here to Iveen. Go, go, go. What's wrong with your hands?
Updated my journal.
She turns away. She makes no sign that she heard you. Just leave her hands alone, man. They're no problem to you. The eyes of this corpse are set close together, and the eyeballs themselves are slightly askew. One faces to the left and the other to the right. You can barely make out the number 257 traced into its bruised forehead. It looks like the corpse has taken several blows to the head, making the number difficult to read. Don't you get dizzy with your eyeballs facing like that? There's no flicker of understanding in the corpse's eyes. They stare silently off to the left and right. Sorry, bud. Nothing in there. Another corpse on a stone slab. There is no indication what the body died of. This heavily stitched corpse is shuffling lazily back and forth between two slabs. The number 506 has been stitched on its forehead, and the side of its neck, and its right arm. In fact, the skin of this peeling corpse has been sewn up with so many stitches its skin looks like a bizarre street map. Examine the stitches. The stitches encircle the corpse, running from its arms, across its chest, up its neck, and into the damp mass of white hair. As you follow the crossroads of stitches, you notice someone has jammed a needle into the corpse's forehead. The needle was attached to a thread stitching up the side of the skull. You could probably unravel it if you had something to cut the thread. Use your scalpel and pull it out. You slice the thread neatly with the scalpel, then pluck out the needle and pull the stitches out. As you do, the skin covering the forehead peels back to reveal the corpse's chalk white skull, where, to your surprise, the number 78 has been chiseled. Seems you got two different designations there, corpse. Oblivious. This corpse, 985, has stopped dead in its tracks, Judging from the condition of its left leg, it looks as if some sort of tomb rot or corpse mold has eaten through its knee. The corpse is wobbling unsteadily back and forth, trying to keep its balance. Try to help. You reach up for the corpse's left arm to help steady it. As you grab its arm, however, the corpse suddenly sways to the right, and you end up tugging the corpse rather than steadying it. Chief, you might not what? There's a crack from the corpse's left leg, and the body falls like a dead tree. Its torso strikes the stone flagstones and shatters like a rotten melon, filth and ichor gurgling from the cavity. To your surprise, no one seems to have noticed the corpse's collapse. And even stranger, the left leg remains standing where the body was, as if at attention. After a moment, the leg falls over with a wet thump. As you gaze upon the putrefied remains of the corpse, you notice that its left arm seems intact. It is snapped from the torso during the fall, and it doesn't appear to have been touched by the tomb rot that has spread through the rest of the body. Huh. I wonder if I can make use of that arm. It's a left arm of 985. This arm snapped clean off corpse 985 when it accidentally toppled. As much as the corpse's knee was rotted clean through, it looks like the combination of thick applications of embalming fluid and rigor mortis has made this arm almost as hard as wood. If you needed to, you could either use it to shake someone's hand from a distance or use it to bash their skull in. Nice. Alright, so I've got a needle and thread. I just need embalming fluid from somewhere. Let's try this station. Time for more quiche here. Nope, nothing there. Alright, time to just search the next room. Anybody in here? Nope, it's on a rotating platform. Oh, there's a buddy. Hey, can you help me out, bud? The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. The number 821 is carved into his forehead, and his lips have been stitched closed. The faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from his body. So, seen anything interesting going on? As you address the zombie, it blinks in surprise. What? You're not a zombie. Who are you?
Updated my journal.
The zombie is trying to respond behind stitched lips. He has a peculiar, half-frightened, half-angry expression. Who you? What you want? Who are you? The zombie doesn't seem to have heard you. He looks you up and down for a few moments, then frowns. What you do here? His eyes narrow suspiciously. You spy on Dusties? I'm not a spy. I got sealed in here by accident. Can you help me out? He's silent for a moment, then nods slightly as if in understanding. Why should I help you? Maybe we could help each other out. What do you want in return? You need to get a key for me. One iron key to Embalmment's room. Okay, where is this key? A dusty chit has it. He points at his eyes. She has yellow eyes. He then makes a motion with his hands that remind you of a pair of cutting shears. Blades on fingers. This Dustman woman sounds really attractive. A Dustman woman with yellow eyes and blades on her fingers? I already met her in the embalming room. Hold on, I'll be back with the key shortly.
Updated my journal.
The zombie squints at you. If you're cut, don't say nothing about me, or me gut you in your sleep. I'll get your damn key, but you best watch your threats, you hear me? Well, yeah, where's the embalming fluid? Do I have any? No, I do not. Where do I get it? Nope. Still get some. Dang, I don't remember where I got it last time. Oh wow, this chalk white body has been drained of blood and treated with embalming fluid. A neatly stitched seam runs down the corpse's chest. It might be... You know what? I'll talk to the dusty chit. What? Ooh. She's still dissecting the corpse's chest with her talons. The rhythm of the talons reminds you of something, but you can't quite recall what. Watch her. Study the motions of her hands.
Updated my journal.
As you study the motion of Irene's hands, you feel a prickling along your scalp, and then suddenly you find your vision swimming, blurring, until you're standing in front of a freshly slain corpse, rigor mortis making a mockery of its smile. The number 42 has been stitched onto its scalp. The zombie is lying on a slab, and you have just finished stitching up its chest. You've placed something inside, something that may prove useful if you come this way again. Echo. Keep these things safe and wait for my return. The memory of your voice is an echo, strange and hollow to your ears. You cross your arms in front of your chest, and to your surprise, the corpse does too. After a moment, its hands fall back to its side, and as it does, the vision fades, until you are watching Irene's hands make your stitching motions once more. Hello. She turns, sees you, then frowns. Dumb zombies. She clacks her taloned fingers together impatiently, then makes a stitching motion with her fingers. Find thread and embalming fluid. Bring here to Irene. Go, go, go. Wait a minute. I need an embalming key. Do you have one? She leans forward, looks at your hand motions, then sniffs. Her hand darts into her robe, then emerges a key hanging from her wickedly sharp index finger. She flicks it into her hand. Bring back when done. Go, go.
Updated my journal.
Well, that was surprisingly easy. Alright, Mr. Imposter Zombie. Oh, there you are. You see the false zombie. You're amazed at this man's disguise. His breathing is so subdued you could barely see it. No. The zombie quickly glances around to see if anyone is watching, then turns to face you. What? Here's that embalming room key you wanted. The zombie's eyes widen and he snatches the key from your hand. He turns it over, nodding all the while. Good. Good. Now, how do I get out of here?
Updated my journal.
The zombie grunts. You can escape through portals. He waves his hands. Poof! Portals? What portals? Portals. The zombie waves around the area. Portals everywhere. Can you show me one of these portals? The zombie nods. You want out? Go to Arch and First Floor, northwest room. You need finger bone, shape of crook. He holds up his index finger and bends it into a crook. When you have key, go to Arch, jump to secret crypt, and can escape from here. Secret escape route. He nods eagerly. You can rest there. Crooked finger bone. Where am I going to find one of those?
Updated my journal.
He shrugs. Must be around somewhere. Look in storage rooms on upper floor. Maybe there. Very well. I had some other questions, though. How did you get to look like that? Me good at disguise. Me also got scars. Me wear lots of embalming fluid. Me make good zombie. The zombie giggles through stitched lips and taps his head. Dusty's stupid. Yeah, they're the stupid ones, alright. The sarcasm is evidently lost on the zombie, who nods eagerly. Stupid Dusties. Me make good zombie. That disguise is pretty good. Can you disguise me as a zombie? He looks you up and down for a few moments, mumbling to himself, then nods. Uh-huh. Me need jar of embalming fluid. Point to the scars on your chest. And some needle and thread. Oh. Let's see if I can find some. God damn it, I've got the needle and thread, but I don't have the embalming fluid. Ah. Oh yeah, that's right, I can run. Run, run, run. Anything in here? Nope, nothing. Nothing. Oh, wait. Receiving log page. This ragged page looks like it was cut neatly out of a book. It is written in a tight, crabbed script. 16537, 5th night. Drunk. Chest wound. Cause of death. Mauling. Abishai. Collector pox. 3 commons paid, no possessions. 16538, 5th night. Desiccated corpse. Cause of death, indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, ferret. 3 commons paid. No possessions. Stripped. Knife marks evident from description. Dissection. 16539. 5th night. Scarred shell. Cause of death, indeterminable. Scars do not appear to be cause of death. Shock trauma? Collector, ferret. 3 commons paid. Possessions logged. Fist irons, 13 commons. Middle table, receiving room. That's where we picked up the fist irons. 16540, 5th night. Desiccated corpse number 2. Cause of death, indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, ferret. 3 commons paid. Possessions logged. Knife marks evident from dissection, but the dissection was not thorough enough. Copper earring found lodged in abdomen. Earring has been locked in southeast preparation room. Have an initiate from the 3rd circle examine it. It has strange markings, like those on contracted worker 79. 16541, 5th night. Skeleton. Cause of death, indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, ferret. 3 commons paid. No possessions. Stripped. Knife marks evident from dissection. As with the previous entries, these shells Ferret has brought us also shown signs of having been prepared. I've asked that Initiate Emmerich launch an investigation into the matter. Furthermore, entry 16542 is one of Ferret's gang. I've seen the individual before. I would ask Emmerich to pay heed to how the man died. 16542, 5th night, tiefling, male. Cause of death, slash marks discoloration of wounds are consistent with grave rot. Ghoul claws? Collector, ferret, 3 commons paid, no possessions. Interesting. Gate is sealed shut. Man, I'm so used to using the WASD keys. Come on, where can I find some embalming fluid? Is locked. Nothing. Man, if I could just take some from the ports here. Oh, this corpse looks like someone turned it inside out. A machine at the head of the table has peeled the skin off the forehead to give direct access to the skull. Fun. Dried blood. Stench is almost unbearable. Ah, damn it. I didn't talk to the doll. He might know. I'm kind of out of answers right now. Hello. Doll glances up as you approach. So, you have returned. Doll takes a rasping breath and breaks into a violent coughing spell. After a moment it subsides and he returns to his raspy breathing. Greetings again, restless one. Did you know there's someone disguised as a zombie in the Eastern Chambers? Can you tell me how to get out of here? Oh, yeah. Damn it. Where did I to go? Oh, maybe there's something here. It's kind of out of the way. Yeah, you sit over there, Mort. Nah, no, nothing. Damn. Come on. Got me somewhere. So. You see anything interesting going on? Nope. There's gotta be a stairway, because I remember vaguely that I've missed. Yes, here we go. I didn't go far south enough. I did it. There we go. Progress. Someone has inserted a tube into this corpse's leg. The tube is attached to a strange clicking machine next to the slab. But it has been withdrawing. Embalming fluid. There we go. Still fresh. Dried blood. Nothing. Ah, stairway up. Stairway down. Ooh, more embalming fluid. Thank you. This, yeah. I knew that it was somewhere. Attached to somebody. Nothing here. Let's go back up. Now we can either get stitched up by Mr. Imposter Man or the sultry Iveen. I think I shall go with Miss Iveen here. Hello. Get her attention. Give her the thread and embalming.
Updated my journal.
Without missing a beat, Iveen snaps the thread from your hands and hooks it around one of her talons, then begins sewing up the corpse's chest. She then takes the embalming fluid and begins to apply a layer to the corpse. Wait. Within minutes, she is finished. She clicks her talons, then turns to face you. To your surprise, she extends her hand and drags her talons along your arms and chest. It's not that I'm not flattered, but looks like you have a new friend, Chief. You two need some time together, or... Stow it, Mort. As she traces your arms and chest, you suddenly notice she seems to be examining your scars. She withdraws her talons, clicks them twice, then bends forward and examines some of the tattoos on your chest. Who right on you? Hivers do that? No respect for zombies. Zombies, not paintings. She sniffs, then pokes one of your scars. This one bad shape. Many scars, no preserves. Her talons suddenly hook into the thread you brought her, and lightning-like, she jabs another talon into the skin near one of your scars. It feels barely more than a pinprick, but it looks like she's about to start stitching you up.
Updated my journal.
Let her work. The sensation is curiously painless as Iveen begins to stitch up your scars. When she is done, she sniffs you, frowns, and stabs her fingers into the embalming fluid. Within minutes, she has dabbed your body with the fluid, and strangely enough, it makes you feel better. This may be the second time in my life that I'm thankful I don't have a nose. Iveen puts the last touches on your body, gives you another sniff, nods, then makes a shooing motion with her talons. Done. Go, go. Well, I have been inadvertently patched up when I wasn't meaning to. see if we... Oh, locked. Need a key. Let's go upstairs.
All right.
Nothing in here. Ooh, can I go up that way? Ooh, a charcoal charm. What is this? This piece of charcoal is a charred bone fragment of some creature, perhaps a finger bone or a talon. Various symbols have been scratched onto its surface. The scratchings are so faint you almost missed them. This charcoal charm temporarily protects the user against flames and extreme heat. To use the charm, the charred bone is snapped and both halves are ground to powder. Then the charcoal dust is rubbed over the heart of the user. Well. Where are we? What? No, I do not want to attack the things. Dustman. Oh dear. And I found some junk. Small springs, broken bolts, and a cracked gear or two. It looks like someone felt these pieces might be useful one day, but they seem pretty useless to you. Needle and thread. Very nice. And I think I might heed Mort's advice and leave those dusties well alone. There we go. Nothing. Zombie worker? Skeleton worker, hello. An iron pry bar. This iron pry bar can be used to pry open doors, chests, and even the occasional reluctant ribcage. It also makes a good bludgeoning weapon when there's no time for subtlety. Ooh, Dustman request. A note written on a scrap of dry parchment. Contact the necromancer responsible for raising contractual worker 42. I know he's examined the skeleton before, but I'm certain the initial raising of the body was warped. The worker still responds to commands, but when it has completed the task, it resumes pacing in the same circular pattern as it did before. Dahl recently informed me that worker 42 exhibited that same walking pattern when it was a zombie decades ago. There may be a soul echo, and the marrow or the skeleton's age may have caused the magic animating him to decay. One of the initiates suggested it may be following an order issued by a higher-ranking dustman in the past, but I have no records of such an order. Whatever the reason for his behavior, the matter is to be resolved or the worker replaced. Ooh, locked, eh?
What's up? Yeah.
Oh, right, inventory. Let's see. I don't want to break it, though. Let's use an arm. How about... Oh, fist irons. Let's get that into...
Forced it.
Yes. Successful bash. Ooh. Copper commons and clot charms. This glistening blood drop is as hard and smooth as a pearl. When placed on the tongue, it dissolves instantly and spreads through the user's bloodstream. The charm stimulates the user's blood into clotting and scabbing over existing wounds, healing any minor damage the user may have suffered before consuming the charm. Furthermore, as long as the charm is in effect, the player's blood becomes more aware of new wounds that occur, especially any attacks that draw blood. The charmed individual becomes more resistant to slashing and piercing attacks as their blood clots and scabs over the wound as soon as the flesh is torn. Interesting. Hello. The corpse's meaty hand was clearly severed at some point and hastily sewn back on. Several different sets of stitching, all in various states of unraveling, seem to indicate that the head is constantly being knocked back off and reattached during the course of its work. A number, 79, has been cut into its temple, circumscribed by a fanged circle that appears to have been branded on its forehead. Examine the fanged circle. The fanged circle looks like it was branded on the corpse's forehead long ago, presumably before it died. It might be a religious icon of some sort or a rite of passage. You notice that one of the recesses between the inner fangs has a small triangle within it, as if it has some special significance. How did that mark get there, corpse?
Updated my journal.
The corpse makes no reply. Looks like it is too far gone to answer any of your questions. This looks to be the corpse of a well-aged, even ancient woman. Aside from the embalming fluid stink, the stitches sealing her mouth and the number 679 stitched onto her right cheek, it's likely she looks only slightly different now than she did in her final years. So, doing anything later? Farewell. This animated skeleton smells horrible, as if it had only been freshly stripped and prepared. Its jaw and major joints are tightly bound with leather straps, and a rough smock has been thrown over it. The number 1221 has been chiseled into its forehead. I have to ask, why the smock? I mean, it's not like we have anything to be modest about. The skeleton makes no reply. Great talking to you, Bones. Stay healthy. Wonder if this Greybeard would mind if I borrowed his body. Greybeard? Greybeard, you know. Geezer, old feller, yellow dog. Old. Well, I don't think he's in any position to object. Why not take his body? Mort studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I'd need a fresher one than this. And something with a little more dignity. This one's all creaky and fractured. And you're not. Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Mort glares at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Burke. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Oh yeah? At least I have all my parts. Mort snorts. You're not quite sure how he managed it without lungs. Let me tell you, Mort, there's nothing more satisfying than walking around, swinging your arms, breathing the crisp air through the lungs. It's great to have a body. I'll have you know that helping you escape the preparation room has now been added to my growing list of regrets. Mort snorts again. I should have let you rot. Some more, that is. Glad you feel that way. Let's go. Oh, I love it. A little more kiss here. Ah, that's good. Hello, zombie. Zombie, zombie. Zombie, zombie. Oh, Dusty. The numbers 613 are cut deeply into this plodding corpse's forehead, but an inch of shredded, leathery skin separates the 1 and the 3. Looking closely, you can barely make out a 2 carved there. It was great talking to you. Hello, skeleton marker. The skeleton turns to face you. 42 has been chiseled into its forehead, and a number of its bones, mostly the jaws and the joints, have been bound with leather straps. A black smock is draped over its body. I think this is the corpse I had that memory about. At the sound of your voice, a skeleton suddenly straightens up. It crosses its arms over its chest, and its fingers hook into its ribcage. Cross your arms over your chest. In response, the skeleton drops its arms to its sides. The leather cords securing the skeleton's torso snap, and the ribcage folds outward like a pair of double doors. Reach into the ribcage and feel around. To your surprise, your hand vanishes as you reach inside the ribcage. You have a strange feeling it's somewhere else. As you reach inside the ribcage, your hand bumps against an invisible object. It's about the size of a fist and seems to be attached to the skeleton's spine. Take the item out. Oh. As you pull the item out, the skeleton suddenly disintegrates, and the iron bolts securing its joints clatter to the floor. Whatever this item was, it seems to have been the only thing holding it together. It looks like an unremarkable lump of iron. You can't imagine why someone would hide it inside the ribcage of a skeleton. Examine the piece of iron. As you place both of your hands on the lump of iron to examine it, there is a and the metal evaporates, leaving behind a strange dagger, a handful of coins wrapped in a dirty cloth, and 2 bloody teardrops. These look like they were inside the lump of iron. Take the items and leave. What the hell? Oh, he also had a wooden club. Some clot charms, rags. A green steel knife. This razor-sharp knife has been forged out of the famed Batorian green steel. Found only in the wastelands of Avernus, this peculiar green ore can be tempered into metal much lighter than normal steel. In addition, green steel weapons tend to retain their remarkably fine edges and are capable of dealing out more damage than their standard counterparts. Oh my. Well. The skin of this female corpse is heavily tattooed with intricate patterns. The skin of her brow has been peeled back so that the number 1148 could be chiseled into the skull beneath. Her mouth has been sealed shut with thick, rough stitching. Zombie. This corpse's slightly misshapen head appears to be held together by a number of narrow metal bands bolted directly onto the skull. A rusting iron plate over its left eye has the number 475 etched into it. Its mouth is bolted shut, and it reeks of embalming fluid. Oh shit, no! I am not holding! I've stayed my welcome too long. Some more junk. Ooh, you're a red zombie worker. I shall run to talk to you. I don't have much time. The number 1146 is carved into the forehead of this walking corpse. Its lips are sewn together with coarse black thread. The entire body is covered in horrible scars, worse even than your own, as if its owner had been burned to death. Its nose, ears, and several digits are missing, presumably charred away in some long-ago conflagration. As you block its path to get its attention, it stops and gazes at you with vacant eyes. Fascinating. No skeleton. This skeleton has either seen a great deal of combat or has fallen down one too many staircases. Both his arms and legs have been broken and rebuilt with the aid of leather straps and thin iron rods. The front of its skull bears the number 863, but the back of the skull is caved in, forming an empty cavity. You notice that someone has taken advantage of this and tucked a rolled up piece of parchment inside the skull. You slip the parchment out of the worker's skull. Oddly enough, it looks as if the skull cavity is intended to store messages. A tiny string is attached to the parchment from a hook bolted inside the skull, as if to keep the parchment from accidentally falling out. You unhook the string and glance over the parchment. It looks like a reminder from one of the mortuary custodians. Judging from the note, the skeleton seems to be a walking messenger of sorts. As you take a second glance at the skeleton, you realize it has stopped in front of the slab because it can't figure out how to move past it. How about this skeleton, Mort? Will it do as a body? Mort studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I need a fresher one than this. Okay, nothing up there. Just trying to avoid those damn dusties. Ooh, here's a door. Yay. No! No, we all need a key. Run away! No. No! I'm not here. Ah, this looks open. No, it's locked. Damn it. Shit, bullocks. How about you? Can I pry open your things? Yes, I do need a bone. Try it? Yes. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of the skeleton with leather straps woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. The skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped and its numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. Whoa, Chief. That's vandalism? Those bolts are probably the only thing holding that bag of bones together. Necromancy only goes so far with these old fellas, you know? So? Oh, it's not a problem. Mort does a strange bobbing motion that you think might be a shrug. Just wasn't sure if you knew that or not. By all means, go ahead. Using your pry bar, you rip the bolts from the skeleton's joints. The skeleton collapses, some of its bones still twitching. Sorry about that, bones. Ah, it's just a wooden club. I need a finger joint. And we're not getting caught. Oh boy. Oh dear. No! I have taken too long. Ah! Back downstairs, quick. Or maybe up here. Aha! Bonies. Try and pry them out. Ah, wooden club, damn it. I need a finger bone. Nothing there. Hello. The air roaring from the mouth of this immense furnace is incredibly hot. Walking even a few steps past the archway would certainly cause your hair and flesh to burst into flame. Oh, fun. Friggin' dusty. I know. I shall save. What? I can't save it this time. No! Ah. Why not? There we go. Let's do the autosave. Yes. Alright, just in case I get caught. Run for it! No! Ah, frickin' wooden club. Ooh, here we go. Ah, bandages. Ooh, container's locked. Frickin' bust that open.
Forced it.
Yes. Yes! A bone charm. What the hell are these iron spikes? If necessary, you could use it as a dagger. Huh, that's new. Ew. Bone charm and a corpse fly charm. Bone charm. This old finger bone charm has been hollowed out and tiny symbols have been scratched on its surface. A user must snap it in two to activate it. When snapped, the bone charm temporarily strengthens the user's skeleton and acts as a ward against breaks and fractures. The charm gives the user an overall bonus to their armor class and additional resistance against crushing attacks. And this one's the most disturbing one. This corpse fly looks like it was frozen. It appears to be dead, but you can't be sure. The magic contained within the charm is activated when the insect is consumed. When swallowed, the recipient suddenly becomes extremely nauseous. A few seconds later, the charmed individual expels a stream of insects from their nose and mouth. Provided the charmed individual can keep their wits about them after the casting, the caster can send this cloud to attack a target. Ugh. No thanks. More clot charms. Nothing. And... oh, I gotta get rid of some stuff. Dang it. Here we go, get rid of those iron spikes. I don't need the wooden club. Or the mortuary. Yeah, I don't need these papers. Dustman embalming charm. Lesser. This strange metal bracelet has directions inscribed on the side of it. Judging from the crude text, it appears that the bracelet works by being held by a living creature. Then while pronouncing a mantra to the true death, it is touched to the forehead of a zombie or skeleton. When this is done, the minor enchantment held within the item spreads through the corpse, strengthening their bones, killing traces of corpse rot and grave mold, and helping to seal minor tears in the skin. Fascinating. Mortuary task list. Let me get a drink here. 1 second. Let's see. Someone has penned a series of tasks in red ink on this scrap of parchment. I would like the contracted workers to be inspected thrice daily, at the end of each work shift when the new initiates come on duty. We've experienced too many contracted collapses while engaged in heavy labor as of late, and I fear the embalming enchantments initially used on the corpses may be decaying or may have been warped somehow. If the contracted workers could be inspected every 8 hours and raised if they have collapsed, then this would prevent the backlog of shells in the preparation rooms and free up more contracted workers for other duties. I do not wish collapsed bodies to be disposed of. When possible, the original contracted shells are to be raised and be made to resume their duties. I have included spare embalming charms within the shelves of the initiates for on duty. They are to be used only when the shells cannot be repaired with stitching, bandaging, or applications of embalming fluid. So that's what those charms are for. I see. Okay, let's make a run for it. I think we can actually get past the door now. Run for it! Shit. No, 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 no. Nah! Okay, never mind. Wrong door. Leather strap? Oh. Interesting. I don't need rags. No, I will not hold. I'm going downstairs. See ya. Phew.
All right.
Nope, not that one. I think I know what door it's for. Thanks, mate. Ooh, there we go. I love the mechanistic nature of all of this. Hi, doll. Stay frosty. There we go. Will this... No! Oops. Inventory. Ah, bollocks. Journal. Northwest room of the first floor. Oh boy. I thought I had it. Not nearly as bad as my previous run, though. Ah, the zombie liberally applies the embalming fluid to your body, then stitches up several of your scars. Working from your feet upwards, he stitches up your scars and finishes off the disguise by stitching up your lips. Thanks. Can't you make the stitches on his lips any tighter? Stuff it, Mort. The zombie holds up his hand. Careful. Talk pull stitches up. Ruin the gut disguise. Zombie no talk. You got to talk. Talk slow. Careful. Take heed that no one expects zombies to talk. If you speak to someone as a zombie, you run the risk of exposing your disguise.
Updated my journal.
The zombie frowns. Disguise won't last long. Embalming fluid dry up, stitches fall out. He shrugs. Probably not last outside Mortuary. No running. You run, you ruin whole disguise. Equipping weapons or running will instantly nullify your zombie disguise. Ooh. I actually... Nice. The actual appearance has shifted. I'm impressed. Well, that will help me out upstairs, that's for sure. It'll actually take a little more of my time. Oh man, this is gonna take forever. Why not have some drink while I wait? That was a lot faster than I thought. Alright.
I'm gone.
So, I need a key to get in there. Northern, crematorium, southern, northwest, eh? Oh boy. What sort of key? Dang. Can't believe I forgot. This mummified corpse looks like it's bound for the crematorium. Come on, you can do it. Shuffle. Shuffle with all your heart. Oh, nothing. Junk. Oh, excuse me. Pardon my squeaks. That looks important. Come on. Yeah. Whoa. What do they do to his face? Poor bastard. It's actually really well done. Oh, Dusty. Hi. Nothing to see here. This is a shuffly old zombie. Nothing to do. Come on, let's try this. No! Mortuary sanctum key, there we go. Damn straight. Lucky. Thank you, Mort. Beauty. Yeah, only he's got the hands. He can do that. At least you can open up that door too. There you go. I'm just amazed that the Dustmen haven't tried to figure out what the hell's going on with Mort. It's like, that's not up to code. What's wrong with it? It's just a floating skull. Nothing. But I can go down. And we're on the 3rd floor. Right. A hammer. There's a long handle and a metal head that looks like it could shape steel and crush skulls with ease. Nothing. Aha! Well, ain't that a bit shit? Well, and here's the 1st floor.
I'm gone.
Anything up here? Yes. What's going on here? Are you stuck? No, you're just taking your time. Question mark. There. The plaque on this bier says, "Here lies Dayanara." Interesting. This looks like a large tomb. The marble surface gives it a rather elegant look. Let's take a look. Oh, hi. The spirit of Dayanara, hello. You see a strikingly beautiful ghostly form before you. Her arms are crossed and her eyes are closed. She has long, flowing hair, and her gown seems stirred by some ethereal breeze. As you watch, she stirs slightly, and her eyes flicker.
You! What is it that brings you here? Have you come to see firsthand the misery you have wrought? Perhaps in death I still hold some shred of use for you, my love.
My love. Do I know you? Spirit makes a begging motion with her hands. How can it be that the thieves of the mind continue to steal my name from your memory? Do you not remember me, my love? The ghost stretches out her arms. Think. Her voice becomes desperate again. The name Dayanara must evoke some memory within you. I think I feel the stirrings of memory. Tell me more. Perhaps your words shall chase the shadows from my mind, Dayanara. Oh, at last the fates show mercy. Even death cannot chase me from your mind, my love. Do you not see? Your memories shall return. Tell me how I can help you, and I shall. Do you know who I am? You are one both blessed and cursed, my love, and you are one who is never far from my thoughts and heart. Blessed and cursed? What do you mean? The nature of your curse should be apparent, my love. Look at you. She points at you. Death rejects you. Your memories have abandoned you. Do you not pause and wonder why? I'm still trying to get my bearings, actually. What else can you tell me about myself? I know that you once claimed you loved me, and that you would love me until death claimed us both. I believed that, never knowing the truth of who you were, what you were. And what am I? I cannot. She suddenly freezes, and she speaks slowly, carefully, as if her voice frightens her. The truth is this. You are one who dies many deaths. These deaths have given the nudge of all things mortal, and in your hand lies the spark of life and death. Those that died near you carry a trace of themselves that you can bring forth. As Dayanara speaks the words, a crawling sensation wells up in the back of your skull. You suddenly feel compelled to look at your hand. As you lift it up and look at it, you can see the blood coursing sluggishly through your arm, pouring into your muscles, and in turn giving strength to your bones. What?
Updated my journal.
And you know Dayanara is right. You suddenly remember how to coax the dimmest spark of life from a body and bring it forth. The thought both horrifies you and intrigues you. You have remembered how to raise others from the dead. I had other questions. Can you tell me where I am? Where are you? Why, you are here with me, my love, as in the times when life was something both of us shared. Now it is the eternal boundary that separates us. Dayanara sounds saddened. It is a barrier I feel you shall never cross, my love. It is the barrier between your life and what remains of mine. Perhaps you could answer some more questions. I need to escape this place. Can you help me? As you are about to ask Dayanara the question, it catches in your throat. It occurs to you that if you tell her you are looking for an escape route, she might feel you are abandoning her. If you are going to ask her how to leave, you'll need to be delicate about it. I must leave. Hold a moment. I learned much when I traveled with you, my love, and what you have lost I have retained. I have not divulged all that I know to you. My sight is clear, whilst you fumble in the darkness for a spark of thought. What could you possibly say? What is it in your sight sees that I do not? Time itself relaxes its hold as the chill of oblivion slowly claims us, my love. Glimpses of things yet to come swarm across my vision. I see you, my love. I see you as you are now, and... Dayanara grows quiet. What is it? What do you see? I see what lies ahead for you. It ripples through the plains, stemming outward from this point. Shall I speak of what I see? Tell me. First, I require a promise. Promise you will return, that you will find some means to save me or join me. Oh. I find it hard to believe that a woman I once loved would blackmail promises from me with a promise of revelations. Have you no faith in me, Dayanara? Dayanara looks taken aback. Then her tone changes, her voice becoming almost pleading. I do not mean to extract a vow from you, my love. It is just that I've waited so long for you to join me beyond the... If you do not mean to extract a vow from me, Dayanara, then do not do so. Now tell your vision, and we will speak no more of vows and promises. Dayanara stiffens. She looks as if she is about to say something, then sighs in defeat. Very well, my love. As before, I shall have to place my trust in you. She closes her eyes.
This is what my eyes see, my love. Unfettered by the shackles of time. You shall meet enemies 3, but none more dangerous than yourself in your full glory. They are shades of evil, of good, and of neutrality. Given life and twisted by the laws of the plains. You shall come to a prison built of regrets and sorrow, where the shadows themselves have gone mad. There you will be asked to make a terrible sacrifice, my love. For the matter to be laid to rest, you must destroy that which keeps you alive, and be immortal no longer. I know that you must die, while you still can. The circle must come to a close, my love. You were not meant for this life. You must find that which was taken from you and travel beyond, into the lands of the dead.
Updated my journal.
I do not doubt your ability to rise from the dead. I do believe that every incarnation weakens your thoughts and memories. You claim you have lost your memory. Perhaps it is a side effect of countless deaths. If so, what more will you lose in successive deaths? If you lose your mind, you will not even know enough to realize that you cannot die. You shall truly be doomed. Countless deaths? How long has this been going on? I do not truly know, except that it has gone on long enough. I shall return.
I shall wait for you in death's halls, my love.
She smiles, but there's only sadness in it. She closes her eyes, and with an ethereal whisper, she fades. You back with me, Chief? You kind of drifted out on me there. Do you know who that spirit was? Huh? Spirit? The specter I was talking to. The woman. You're rattling your bone box with some woman? Where? Mort looks around, excited. What does she look like? She was right on top of the byre. Didn't you see her? No, you just kind of drifted out for a bit there. That just stood there, statue-like. I was a little worried you'd gone addled on me again. No, I'm fine, I think. Let's move on.
I feel stronger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, level up. Saving throws improved. Fighting skills improved. 1 characteristic point gained. 4 hit points gained. Very nice. Oh, I have to spend points. Let's go with more wisdom. Well, they blast from a past I didn't recognize that I had. Oh, hello, giant skeletons. Oh, what's this? Wall of weaponry. Let's take another seat. A crescent hatchet. Nice. Before you is a giant skeleton in ornate bronze armor. The armor has been bolted onto the skeleton's frame, and a series of elaborate symbols have been carved across the breastplate. You wonder where the skeleton came from. You weren't aware they made humans in this size. The huge blade in its hands looks like it weighs as much as a wagon cart. So, examine it carefully. The skeleton's intricate bronze armor is riveted onto its ribcage and shoulder blades with a series of iron bolts. As you study the frame behind the armor, you notice the same iron bolts are set into the skeleton's shoulder, elbow, pelvic, and knee joints. A mass of thick leather cords and heavy knotted ropes run along the length of the skeleton's arms and legs, woven in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. Examine the armor. Despite the armor's obvious age, it looks well cared for. It shines brightly, and the symbols engraved on the breastplate seem to flow in the firelight, shifting slightly whenever you try to focus on them. Study the symbols. Almost unconsciously, you let your gaze relax as you look at the symbols. After a moment, the symbols cease shifting and resolve into a trail of runes that run up and down the breastplate. Strangely enough, the interlocking pattern of runes reminds you of chains. And with that thought, you suddenly recall that these runes are some sort of warding enchantment. Study the runes. Try and recall. You study the pattern of runes as they weave their way across the breastplate. On its most basic level, the runes are a lesser armoring enchantment, but several skull-shaped runes and spherical tracings along the edges of the armor make you suspect several greater necromantic and warding enchantments are woven in as well. Touching the skeleton will most likely cause it to awaken and defend itself. See if you can spell the enchantments. You suspect that marring the rune pattern along the breastplate could unravel the enchantments, but it looks difficult. The pattern is complicated, and scratching out the wrong portion could cause the skeleton to animate. Try the warding enchantment first. Then work backward. Whoa, jeez. That's surprising. The work is difficult and nerve-wracking at first, but slowly your mind begins to focus and the runes begin to unravel beneath your attack. Within minutes, the giant skeleton has been stripped of the enchantments binding it. It collapses, falling to the floor with a crash of bones and a heavy clanging noise. Damn pile of bones! You wait for a moment, but no one responds to the sound. Moving quickly, you sift through the skeleton's parts on the floor. Most of it is too heavy or too old to be useful, but you discover a piece of the skeleton's breastplate with the majority of one of the broken enchantments engraved on it. You have a feeling that it could prove it useful. I'll just...
Looks like my skills have increased.
Oh yeah, more... Level up. Yeah. He is a fighter as well. And he is chaotic good. That makes a lot of sense. Aren't concerned with structure or order. They are individualists who tend toward performing acts of kindness. Well, isn't that lucky for us? Oh, there's another one. I can't go out that way. Could interact with this guy, though. Could do the same thing. Man, I love the music. Let's see. Dispel enchantments. Warding? Let's see what... Oh. Remembering what happened to the first, you catch the skeleton before it falls, and with a grunt, slowly lower it to the ground. Let's see what we got this time. You quickly rummage for the skeleton's remains, and once again uncover a piece of the skeleton's breastplate. Like the first, this one also has a fragment of its broken enchantment engraved on it. It could prove useful. Oh yeah, I should look at my inventory. Ooh, rune of armor, rune of lesser warding. Upon closer examination of the runes covering the surface of this breastplate, you think you might be able to unlock the rune's power and use it to invoke a primitive warding enchantment, similar to the one that protected the giant skeleton. Activating the rune will destroy the breastplate, however. Could either cast the runes as a spell or copy them into a spellbook and keep it as part of your arsenal. Very interesting. Let's fill out this map here. Oh, hello. There's a third one. Dispel. And what do we get? Greater warding. Very nice. Oh, there's a fourth one. Hi. Now, how about that? Come on, shuffle harder. Inventory. Shielding. Nice. Now, if I am not mistaken, there should be a way out over here. I sure hope that bone charm is what I was looking for. Come on. Shuffle. Come on, buddy. You can do it. think that's our way out. Yes. I think someone's looking for us. Looks like we're in a new place. This sarcophagus appears to have been here for centuries. There is no lid. The exterior seems to be made of solid stone.
I'm gone.
Ooh, Copper Commons pen's note. This note has been written with remarkable penmanship upon the finest parchment. Vaxus, if you're reading this, then you have undoubtedly failed in your task and have been forced to use the escape route I arranged. I told you that your little disguise idea was ridiculous. In any case, you'll need to lay low for a while. The Dustmen may be deluded, but they are not fools, and they'll certainly seek retribution for our intrusion. I've left you some coins. Use them to secure a hiding place in the hive, preferably in Ragpicker's Square. The Dustmen will be unwilling to look for you there. Once you've secured a new hiding place, I have a new mission for you. Find out where Ferret is getting those bodies he's delivering to the Mortuary. It's apparently causing the Dustmen a great deal of upset, and I wouldn't mind knowing myself. Reports are that the stone-faced Dustman at a gathering dust bar, Initiate Emmerich, I think the fool's name is, has been sending out finders to try and mark Ferret's movements. See if you can find out how far along he is and hinder his efforts until we know more about Ferret's activities. I don't want Emmerich finding out something before we do. Interesting. What is that? This brazier has long since run dry of oil. Only ashes remain at the bottom. Well, how do we... Oh, there's a door. That is all blocked up. Let's mosey on out of here, then. Welcome to Sigil, as the locals call it. Beautiful. Yes.
All right.
I love this place.
Seeking company, Carter.
Hive dweller. The man's eyes go wide and blood drains from his face. Powers above and below. They said you'd come back, but I didn't believe them. He suddenly turns to flee. Try and grab him. Nope. Yeah, he's gone. Stay away from that burnt-out alley southwest of here, if you're not spoiling for trouble. Well, okay. Looks like somebody recognized us. That's not good. Oh, inventory. Oh boy. Frickin' arm. I love it. Iron Pry Bar. Chocolate charm. Tasty. I mean, if you burn cookies hard enough, then. Pox. Hello. Who are you? This cowled figure is hunched by the mortuary gate. His face is obscured by the shadows of his hood. What little you can see is his chin, which is covered with stubble and what appears to be a foul green and purple rash. The rash seems heaviest around his neck, fading as it crawls up to his chin. Greetings. The figure doesn't budge. There is a moment of silence, then he responds in a high-pitched voice that sounds more suited to a girl of 10 years than a man. Hi? Who are you?
Pox am I. Hi.
Pox?
Mother and father named me. Wished a pox on firstborn. A curse given. Came true. It did. Hi.
Again, your eyes are drawn to the purplish-green rash covering Pox's chin and neck. Oh, I had some more questions for you. What are you doing?
Wait for debtors, do I? Hi.
Debtors? Corpses? Why?
Find a debtor, take him through the gate, get some jink, then again I wait. Hi.
Through the gate?
A debtor's to a dustman what copper's to a collector. Bring them the dead, they give you copper at the gate, they do. Hi.
Is the front gate the only way inside the mortuary?
Hey, only dead or a dustman go in gate, they do. You want Pox make you deader again?
Again?
Hi, many time you ask. Pox always do.
How many times exactly?
Many time. Hi.
So we've met before.
Hi.
What do you know about me?
You a debtor who don't stay debtor for long, hi? Deal square with Pox, you do.
I see. Do you know someone named Farad?
Hi, Farad. Collector. Big. Name has weight. Casts long shadow, it does. Hi.
Do you know where I might find him?
Hi. In the hive here he is. Somewheres. Hi.
Can you be more specific?
Hi. Somewheres in the hive he is. Farad hide he does. Very hard finding he is. Not worth finding he is.
Not worth finding.
Hi. Many hates him. Other collectors even. Sharegrave hates him. Not like Farad at all. Hi.
Sharegrave?
Hi. Sharegrave big name. Carry weight. Casts long shadow he does. Tell Pox what to do he does.
Would your boss, this Sharegrave, know where Farad is?
Updated my journal.
Hi. Sharegrave knows darks he does. No Farad a hiding he does. Sharegrave in Ragpicker Square, many blocks west of here. Hi. Say Sharegrave's that Pox send you. Tell him Sharegrave become share couple with Pox he will.
Ragpicker Square. I have lost a journal. You wouldn't happen to have seen one, would you?
Hi. No journal have I seen. Things get lost in the hive, never found again. Maybe journal one of them. Hi.
I see. Sorry to disturb you. Oh, well. Friggin' Dusties. Hi. This dustman is dressed in long, dark robes, and her hands are folded into her sleeves. Her head is bowed, and she is chanting at a measured pace with the other dustmen around her. Greetings. The dustman appears to have heard you, but she does not look up. Listen. All the dustmen carry the exact same tone and rhythm. The chant rises to a near shout every few minutes, then slowly fades in a way that reminds you of an echo. Once it fades completely, the dustmen speak several lines praising the true death, then begin their chant again. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. What the? Hi. You're an interesting folk. You see a tall creature with a shock of white hair. Its skin has a greenish cast and a pair of goat horns protrudes from its forehead. It is dressed in long flowing robes and appears to be floating slightly above the ground. Hello. The creature turns to face you and a series of symbols appear around its head. The symbols have a slight glow about them, and they just hover there. Oh, for the power's sake. Piking Davis. What's wrong? He's a Davis. They speak in rebuses. These annoying word puzzles. If you don't know what he's saying, then we better find a native or some other way to communicate with him. If we want to. An annoying bunch. My bet, they can speak, but they would just rather piss everyone else off by trying to puzzle out what they're saying. What's a Davis? Chant is they're janitors for the Lady of Pain. They float around breaking, fixing, and patching up Sigil according to her whims. They're worse than corpse flies. Mort sighs. You can't swat them, though, or the lady will get upset. Lady of Pain? She runs the city. You'll know if you see her. She's got these blades around her face. She's about the size of a giant, and she floats off the ground just like these guys. Mort nods at the Davis who's looking at you both. Nobody knows much about her. She doesn't speak much. All you need to know is that you don't want to make her angry. If you see her, my advice? Run. I see. The Davis waits patiently, its hands tucked into its sleeves. A series of symbols materialize above its head. Then they vanish and a question mark appears. Try and strike up a conversation, see if they can translate what the Davis is saying. You ask the Davis several questions, trying to get a feel for the rebuses that appear above its head. It is extremely patient throughout your discussion, giving you easy sentences to translate. After a few minutes, you start to get the hang of it. It feels like you've done this before. Maybe you can help me. Who are you? The Davis inclines his head slightly, and a stream of symbols appears above his head. I am a Davis. I had another question. What are you doing? A batch of symbols appears above the Davis's head. I attend to my duty. Can you tell me about the Lady of Pain? A lone symbol appears above the Davis's head. This one shows a metallic female mask with blades coming out of the sides. Just looking at the ghostly images makes you uncomfortable. That's all I want to know. The Davis bows slightly. Symbols swirl around its head, then it turns away. Don't try repairing me. Frightened hive dweller. You see a man in tattered clothing. As you approach him, he suddenly stops and begins to look around, frightened. You there, hold a moment. The man looks startled and takes a step back. Eh? What you be wantin', cutter? His voice is shaky, and he seems taken aback by her scars. I have nothing on me, so's I don't, and my rags are not worth the trouble. Calm yourself, I'm not here to rob you. I had some questions. He keeps a safe distance, and his eyes dart from side to side as if expecting something to step out of the shadows. Questions, you said. And, what might those questions be? Can you tell me about... I don't know if I'll have another chance to ask him something. Do you know someone named Farad? Name's not one I know, Kata. Who's he? He's a collector, I think. He thinks. Well, then he most likely has his kip in Ragpicker's Square, then. You might want to look there. During the day, that is. Not a nice place at night. Where is this Ragpicker's Square located? It's a few blocks from here. Go west from the mortuary as far as you can go, and you'll run right into it. Careful when you're around there, though, Kata. The collectors there don't always wait for a body to die before collecting on them. Aye? Got it. Can you tell me about these slums? He looks at you warily, and his brow furrows in confusion. What you be wanting to know about the hive, Kata? Why is it called the hive? He looks puzzled. I don't know. He looks frightened that he doesn't know the answer. Mess of streets, mess of people, mayhap. What's around here of interest? It, depends. Depends on what you find interest in, Kata. Looking for work. He thinks. Precious little. Honest. Work to be found round here, Kata. You can hunt some brain vermin for some coppers, pass them off to the branch office of vermin for some jink, to hear tell, but messing with the brain vermin's dangerous work, though. You can also gather some deaders around the hive, take it to the mortuary for some jink. Brain vermin? Aye, nasty little critters. He bares his teeth like a rat. He looks pretty foolish. Alone, they're barely nothing at all. It's just when brain vermin get together, they get all smart the more of them are around each other. They start getting as smart as a human. He shakes his head. Nobody in their right mind wants that to happen. Hazard to everyone's health, it is. Can you tell me about the Lady of Pain? The Mistress of Sigil. You've not heard of her? You must be blessed or more clueless. And know little about Sigil, indeed. He laughs weakly. Lady's words law here in Sigil. He thinks for a moment. Except she don't say much. Dead silent she is, actually. Some law. He looks at you wary. Don't want to be talking too much about her, card. You don't want to cross the shadow nor by singing her praises, all right? Now let's say no more about it. Rattling your bone box, but the lady is dim. Dim indeed. I'm missing a journal. I don't think anybody cares about this. You missing a what? He looks confused. No idea where you'd find such a thing, Cutter. Alright. Farewell. Here are the alley of dangerous angles. Whole neighborhood I once stood there, but got burned to the ground. Nothing but packs of roving thugs there now. Dangerous angles. The man gasps and points at Mort. Oh, look! A floating skull! Mort rolls his eyes and cries. Oh, look! A talking turd! What? Looking to get a few teeth knocked out, you jabbering bone box? The man steps towards Mort menacingly. Stop. Yeah. You move between Mort and the man. He scowls at you, then backs away. Wasting me time. He turns to walk away. God damn it, Mort. Oh, walking turd. The woman raises her eyebrows as you approach her. I keep to myself, Burke, and it looks like you ought to be doing the same. Keep out of trouble for a bit, aye? Fare you well. Oh, door. Let's check it out.
Let's go in. Oh. Shalandra. Hello. Blast! I almost had it that time. Don't you know it's dangerous to interrupt spellcasters when they're evoking a spell? Luckily for you, I was only practicing. Well, what is it you want? My apologies. Farewell.
I'm gone.
I'm just gonna steal some of your stuff. Nothing. Nothing. Oh well. Just randomly break into somebody's house. Nice.
All right.
Those things look a little dangerous. What is... One copper gets you directions. Life in the hive is a wretched mess, I tell you. Well, if it ain't me very own dark savior. Took your time in coming around, you did. I was starting to think you wouldn't be coming by all. Blood. She starts to rummage around in her belt pouch. Wait, I think you're mistaken. She gives you an odd look, then squints at the tattoos wrapped around your upper arm. Finally, she shrugs. Suit yourself, Cutter. Fare you well. Oh, but what the hell? Okay. Interesting. Like, oh man, I could have gotten some interesting stuff. Why didn't... Why was I honest? The woman raises her eyebrows as you approach her. Oh, it's the same lady. Sorry. Don't mean to disturb you. Dangerous angles guy. Davis. What is this? This obsidian monument has names chiseled on it. Life in the hive, a wretched mess. Southwest burnt out alley. Sevtai. Elderly hive dweller. Death of names. This woman's face looks broken, and she's covered in scars. They look like bite marks and fingernail cuts. She's cradling the shreds of several rags in her hands and is staring emptily at the wall of the monument, at the names there. Greetings. Hist! Get you back! The woman's teeth peel back, displaying a row of black canines. What you want of Sevtai? What's the matter? What wrong? Those Chaos men wrecked my cart, attacked me, and killed three of my sisters who tried to stop them. Not sisters anymore. Now there's nothing but names on this memorial wall. Chaos men. Chaos men. A faction, they says. What they are is an addled bunch that runs wild through the hive and does whatever they please. We never did no harm to them. Then they lope in like dogs and tear apart everything in their reach. Who are these Chaos men who attacked you? They're a hiver gang, a bunch of addled sods that call themselves the starved dogs barking or some such barmy nonsense. You know, I wouldn't mind petting some men in the dead book for some coin. You got the copper? We'll talk terms. A copper earring in your purse if you pen 3 of these murdering sods in the dead book. Jig? I'll see to it that they're put in the dead book. Can you tell me where they might be found? Go out the south gate, spireward from here, then walk around the block until you comes to a place where men run in circles, howling at the sig sky. There's the starved dogs they are. I'll go
Updated
look.
my journal.
Well. Quentin. The man before you looks to be middle of height and years. He is stout with a thick, bullish neck, and his shoulders are hunched, as if a great weight was pressing upon them. He wears an impatient look as he stares at the black monolith in front of him. Greetings. The man throws you a glance. There's room, Kata. No need to ask my leave to stand there. Actually, I want to know what this monolith was. It's a tombstone for the plains, he scoffs. Graveyards of names are scratched on that rock. Can only hope my name's the one that'll split the stone in twain. He points at the base of the monolith. Quentin, right there, hammered in just hard enough to send the damn thing crashing down. Tombstone for the plains. Aye. Quentin smiles ruefully.
The Dusties scratched the names of the dead on this monument here. He gestures around him, and on the walls of this place. Not enough space by my reckoning, but no matter. They do their best. Can barely read half the names. What are you doing here? Reading the new arrivals. Try and find a new one every day. Try and remember if I knew him. Nothing more. Dustman record the names of all that have died on this monument? Aye. I scratch them on this rock. And scratch them on the walls in this place, too. Quentin scoffs. I don't know why they take the trouble to take account of the dead. The Dusties have more care for the living. The living? Aye. You know about the Dustman mourners that come to this place? They aren't mourning the dead, see. They're mourning the living. You can barely get a word in them edgewise without 'em asking to mourn some poor living back for you. Why do they mourn the living? You got me there, Cutter. He shrugs. Might want to put the question to them. Seems to me the dead are thrice worth the pity of any poor soul living in this pit. He nods at the monument. Every name on there is blessed in my book, it is. Ever know anybody who came back after their name was put on there? You mean come back from death? Quentin shakes his head. Not a one, Cutter. Everything that lives dies, and that's the way of things. He shrugs. Still, considering the planes go on forever and all, I suppose anything's possible. I suppose so. You see a Dustman with a crooked smile frozen on his face. Despite the smile, his eyes are as dull as stones. His right arm is shorter than his left, and he keeps it tucked to his side as if cradling a small child. Greetings. The Dustman's eyes slide over you. Name. The way he speaks the word, it sounds like the tolling of a bell. I don't know. No name, no name. Can't help you. The Dustman speaks in a curious sing-song voice. Needed to give a name if you want to see where it's died? What?
Updated my journal.
Give a name when you're born. Give it back when you need it no more. Death of names, death of names. His eyes swim across the monolith, then the walls of the area. Buried many names here, death of names has. Tell me a name, I'll show its grave. Dayanara. His eyes roll to the back of his head, then pop back. With a wild gleam, his eyes run across the walls of the monument, scanning the names at inhuman speed. He then points at a section of the wall. Buried. Examine the spot he's pointing at. Chiseled into the black stone in tiny, cramped writing is the name you requested. It is almost lost beneath the sea of names around it. I'd like to bury a name. He nods, then unfolds his small hand from where it is cradled on his side. It looks atrophied. It is the size of a child's hand. Costs jink to bury a name. 3 coppers. 3. Quentin. She shakes his head. Not dead yet, that name is. Not buried here. Not time, not time. Buried. Just checking. Oh, elderly lady. Hello. Who are you? A sense of great loss hangs over this elderly woman like a dark cloak. As you watch her, a long, sad sigh escapes her lips. She looks at your face, cloudy eyes squinting and straining to see you clearly. Forgive me, young Kata, but I'm an old woman and don't see so well. Do I know you? No. She mulls your answer over for a moment, nodding. What was it you wanted, then? I had some questions. Questions? Her expression curdles. Oh no. You're an adventurer, aren't you? Name, job, and all that rot, eh? Well, I won't have it. Off with you. I'm not an adventurer. Bar that. The woman jabs her finger at you. I've watched the Dustman put the name of me husband, damn his soul, me son and both me daughters on their memorial. Adventurers, all of them. Why, I swung quite a sword myself in the day, so I knows one when I meets one. The old woman seems to be working herself into a fit. Her face has become flushed and flecks of spittle fly from her lips as she howls at you. Let her continue. I'll bet you've got all sorts of balmy questions. She mimics your heroic stance.
Greetings. I have some questions. Can you tell me about this place? Who's the Lady of Pain? I'm looking for the magic girdle of Swank Iron. Have you seen it? Do you know where a portal to the 2,817th plane of the abyss might be? Do you know where the Holy Flamin' Frostbrand Glonksane Vorpalhammer are wounded and returning and shooting lightning out your bum is? She spits. Dung all of it. Only gets you in the dead book. I ought to kick you in the shins for every pestering a poor woman about it all. Now go away and leave me in peace. Oh, damn. Okay, sorry, lady. I know you're bitter. Oh, there's another place. Let's go. Damn. Wretched mess. It is a wretched mess. Just leaves me alone. Wretched mess. Angry hive dweller. Oh. You see a man in old and tattered clothes. As you approach him, he makes a detour to avoid you and keeps walking. Hey, hold a moment. The man ignores you, begins to walk faster. Sir? He turns, glancing briefly to the right and left of you as if looking to see if you have any friends with you. He draws a dagger. You'd best leave me be, or you'll be wearing the steel between your ribs. Oh, so sorry. Okay, yeah, I knew I shouldn't have provoked you. It's my bad. Oh, come chat with me a bit, love. Hey. Oh, harlots. You see a tired-looking woman dressed in a tight leather bodice and leggings. The odor of cheap perfume surrounds her like a cloud, and her face is covered with a mask of crude makeup. She smiles as she sees you. Why don't you stay and chat with me a bit, love? Greetings. The woman looks coyly at you. Now, you look to be a blood who's lost something. Mayhap I can help you find it, Cutter. She smiles slightly. Oh? What good fortune. Oh, it's Mort. What good fortune. We probably lost what we're looking for back at your kip, miss. Maybe you can help me find what I'm missing. Her tone becomes businesslike. Aye, love. Now there's the matter of a finder's fee. I see. How much? Some coppers for a glance at what you're missing, and 10 coppers to actually find what you're missing. Done. I think you found what you're looking for. Come along then, love. Oh my. That's it then, Cutter. I had some questions for you. Well, now that I can concentrate. The woman frowns. I'm not a tout. She frowns and rubs 2 fingers together. Unless you've got some jank to pay for my time. I can pay you. How much? For you? She studies you critically. 7 coppers. No more, no less. Other questions of a deeper chant will cost you more. Sounds fair. Here's 7. She slips the jink into her palm, where it promptly vanishes. Now, there are some things I wanted to know. Looking for someone named Farad. Now that's one of the greater darks, love. If you be wanting to know about that blood, there'll be thrice the coppers of a normal asking. Fair enough. Here's 21. She gives your coins a once-over, then shrugs and pockets them. What you wanting to need knowing about old Farad? At that price, anything you could tell me about him. She shrugs. Chant is he's a collector boss. Has a whole bunch of bloods in his shadow. Where can I find him? Now, no one knows for dead sure, but if I were to suggest a place, love, I'd say Ragpicker's Square. Aye, a big old heap of rags and trash 3 blocks due west of the Mortuary. All the collectors stake their kip there. Chances are, Farad's got his kip there too. What's a collector? You know, them sods that pick up deaders for jank. A sorry lot. They gather bodies. Why? 'Cause they don't got the looks to do what I do. I see. Yeah, lost. When you get tired of losing things and need to find some things, love, you come see me. Chief, can you sport me some jink? It's, been a long time. It has. Well, I suppose it can't hurt. The one breaks in. It's twice the cost for that Mimir, or any of that degenerate. Mimir? Mimir's a talking encyclopedia. That's me, Chief. I see. Well, don't sweat it, Mort. From the looks of her, I'm probably saving you from dying twice. May your pox shrivel your innards! You have the stinking fashion sense of a goat herd and you're twice as ugly!
New taunts, all right.
Mort stares, hypnotized, as the harlot lets loose a stream of obscenities. At the end of the verbal avalanche, Mort is silent for a moment, then turns to you. Wow, Chief. Got a few more taunts for the old arsenal. He turns back to the harlot who's catching her breath. I'm also in love. Fuck, I love it. Ooh. Bane the Sender.
Maybe I can gut a dusty.
Oh, who are you? You see a heavy-set man with sharp features and a pained expression. Despite his huge frame, however, he has an effeminate look about him, and unlike the other residents you've seen, he looks to have bathed recently. As you approach, he looks up hopefully and calls out in a high voice.
Craddock? Good sir?
What? His hopeful expression dies as he studies your face.
1,000 apologies, good sir, if I have given offense.
He gives a slight bow.
I'm called Bane the Sender, third child of Daiben the Sender. I'm one of the many runners in the employ of the House of Senders.
No apologies necessary, Bane. What do you want?
1,000 apologies for troubling you with such a trivial matter, but I seek Craddock, an overseer in the hive.
Bane looks like he's in pain.
But alas, he eludes me.
He looks at you hopefully again.
Could it be you have heard of such a man?
I'm sorry, I haven't. Bane gives a deep sigh.
I'm bound to deliver a message to him, and as yet, fortune has chosen not to favor me.
I might be able to help him deliver your message. For a price. Bane's face lights up like a lantern.
Of course, good sir. If you could find this Craddock and pass along the message, I shall pay you for your troubles.
All right. What's the message? Bane recites the message almost like a mantra.
The shipment must be incursed by the 3rd day, or there will be a penalty.
Bane frowns.
I am told that Craddock will know of the shipment to which the message pertains.
If I see Craddock, I'll pass along the message. Is there anything you can tell me about him before I go that might help me find him?
He's said to be a giant of a man, stern of features, that he is an overseer in one of the hive marketplaces. Alas, I know little else than that, good sir.
I see. That's enough to go on for now. Bane bows.
Thank you, sir. Should fortune favor you and you are able to bear the message to Craddock, be so kind as to return and tell me of it. I will see to it that your efforts are rewarded.
Very well. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Hello.
Old Stuttercrutch be telling his copper. What? Excuse me? Anna.
Pike off.
Oh, I love this lady.
Pike off.
You see a striking red-haired girl dressed in leather armor. Her right arm is covered with a series of interlocking plates that look as if they were taken from the skin of some creature, and a horned shoulder piece protects her left arm. Oddly enough, she has a tail, and is flicking back and forth as you watch.
Pike off.
Greetings. The girl ignores you. Can you tell me where I am?
You're lost, but you're about to find trouble. Make yourself lost somewhere else, Bubba.
I had some other questions I wanted to ask first.
Aye? And what is it you want?
You know you've got a tail. I'm looking for someone named Farron. Do you know where I can find him?
I might say more if you sweeten the question, aye?
She clicks her tongue and rubs 2 fingers together.
Jink jink, aye?
Jink jink. She means money. Oh.
Aye.
She glances at Mort and shrugs.
What the skull said. Hard coin.
I doubt you have anything I want to hear, but try me. How much?
How much is it to you to know? Aye?
She studies you, then folds her arms.
Come on, I haven't got all day, I haven't.
Number 20.
Aye, all right then.
She pockets the money. It's gone so quickly you have no idea where it vanished to.
Look for him in the alley, spireward from the mortuary. That's to the south and west of the mortuary, aye?
Nothing. Farewell.
Aye, pike off to wherever you came from, then.
Farewell to you, too.
I know dadders today said walking ones looks like. Aye, slow single dadders.
Tout here, tout.
Oh, yeah. Good music. Gathering Dust Bar. The Post. Music is so good. This filthy-looking corpse is in sad shape. Its shoulders are slumped, and one of its legs is broken, causing it to lean to one side. Stains cover it from head to toe. Judging from the smell and the texture, the stains run from rotten fruit to mud and bird droppings. To add to the indignity, graffiti has been carved into its body, and several notices have been nailed into its chest, back, and head. Examine the graffiti notices. A number of the leaflets have been ruined by rain, but some of them are still legible. One tacked to his back is from something called the Office of Vermin and Disease Control. The one on his forehead looks like a bill of fare for a restaurant. One on his chest looks like an official notice, and another appears to be some sort of want ad. What's the want ad? Wanted. Able-bodied person willing to investigate a matter of the utmost importance to the Dustman cause. Will offer suitable compensation upon successful completion of said task. Interested parties inquire with Initiate Naroch. Gathering Dust Bar. Examine the graffiti. The graffiti runs from obscenities about the Dustman to slogans glorifying what appear to be local gangs. One piece of graffiti catches your eye. Someone has carved the name Farid on the corpse's left arm and then slashed an X across it. Bill of fare. Someone has posted a bill of fare for the Gathering Dust Bar, but the bill of fare cannot be read, as the words Smoldering Corpse Bar have been scrawled in charcoal over the bill. Smoldering Corpse Bar. The zombie immediately jerks its left arm upwards and points far to the southeast. A moment later, the arm falls back to its side with a thump. Oh, they frickin' tagged it to point directions to competition. Reminds me of a job I once had. He seems embarrassed. Well, I mean, without the arms. Wonder if this would work with the other notices. Public notice. By the order of the Judiciary Council and in accordance with the citizenry of Sigil, let it be known those defacing a registered servant of the Dustman, either by graffiti, malicious attack, or by posting notices, will constitute felonious assault, and the perpetrator will be answerable for the vandalism of said servant. By order of the Hall of Speakers. Post for Office of Vermin and Disease Control. To those hive citizens wishing gainful employ with the most honorable and generous Sigil government, inquire forthwith at Office of Vermin and Disease Control to help stem plague of brain rats. Bounties paid. Copper given for each rat tail brought. Tails must be genuine and from rat only. No cat, dog, or fiend tail accepted. Office several streets south and west of Mortuary Gate in Lower Hive. Ask for official inspector in charge, the respected Phineas T. Lort. 39th. Office of Vermin and Disease Control. The zombie immediately jerks its left arm upwards and points far to the southwest. A moment later, the arm falls back to its side with a thump. Despite the many stitches, the corpse's rotting skin is peeling in several places, revealing long stretches of muscle and bone. You'd guess that this zombie is frequently used as target practice. The fruit and mud stains aside, some of the tears in the skin still have rocks and bits of glass lodged in them. One wicked-looking cobblestone is still embedded in the side of its head. Pry out the cobblestone. You grab a hold of the cobblestone and pull it out of the corpse's head. Traces of brain matter and rotting flesh slowly drip from it. It looks like whatever was in its head turned to ooze long ago. Well. You see a somber, pale-faced dust woman in black robes. She is staring into the distance and doesn't appear to notice you. She turns slowly to face you. Yes, I had some questions. She folds her arms into her robes and waits. Do you know someone named
Updated
Farid?
my journal.
Farid is a collector. The woman studies you for a moment. If you would wish to know more of him, I'm told that Initiate Emmerich in the Gathering Dust Bar also seeks him. It may be that he can help you. As one leaves the mortuary front gate, head south and west. It lies past the memorial. Very well. No, I am not seeking company. I already had some, thank you.
Chief, what are we doing in here? Let's say we just give this place the laugh, all right?
Oh, Mort. You do not like Dustman. You see a somber, pale-faced Dustman in black robes. He's staring silently into his drink. Greetings. The Dustman looks up. Yes? Can I ask you some questions? Not at this time. The Dustman becomes silent and turns back to his drink. Balmy nonsense. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. Ah, look who's come a-calling on Sir today. Death's dearest son. She looks you up and down and shakes her head in disbelief. By every power in its mother, boy. What crypt did you crawl out of? Joke. Well, the crypt was losing its charms, and I'm looking around for the right place to die. Know of anywhere? She barks a laugh that rattles your ears. Not here, unless you want to die of boredom. What's wrong with here? Someone pinch your sense and your sight, boy. She waves her hand around the bar. Look around. What do your eyes tell you? A bunch of fun-loving dustmen drinking happily and conversing merrily, celebrating life to its fullest. You've got a clever tongue there, boy. Mayhap your tongue is cleverer than you are. Seer squints at you, then snorts. That explained the scars. But it doesn't explain why a dustman is standing here ridiculing other dustmen. Care to answer that one? Are you a dustman? A dustman? I suppose. Seer sniffs. I've seen enough sand pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. This body is almost ready to pay the ferryman. She chuckles, but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Course I am, boy. Who isn't? She frowns and glances around. Well, except dustmen. They're not afraid because they've been swallowing so much of their own bat droppings over the decades they've blinded themselves into thinking that death is some kind of release. You don't sound much like a dustman. She shrugs. I guess the dustman robes don't fit me as well as they used to. What happened? She shrugs. Life, I suppose. She frowns. Never you mind. I won't bore you with the niggling details. I'd like to know, actually. Oh, would you? She looks at you skeptically. Pshaw. How old do you take me for, boy? Truth. Old. She snorts. You're wrong. I'm really old. Now, I've spent most of my long years teaching dustmen. I've seen many dustman whelps grow within our order, taught them the ways of the faction, kept the faith, preached the tenets of the faction. She frowns, and so on and so on. No questions, no doubt. This life was merely an antechamber that led to the true death. What happened? Well, a half-month back, I went sick with the fever. She sighs. I thought it was the end. It rattled my cage. How? Her face becomes a stone. There's something about having your faction members circle around your deathbed like a pack of pale-faced ghouls, nodding and agreeing that your suffering and dying is all for the best. Oh, Seer is so fortunate. She shall soon be relieved of the burden of life. Burden of life! That's when it struck me. That there's something... A queer expression comes over her features. Addled about not appreciating your life. The dustman keeps saying that life is misery and suffering. Is it that we should be happy to pass on into oblivion? Should we? She shakes her head. Questions, questions, and precious few answers. Doesn't sound like you believe in the dustman philosophy anymore. I suppose I've got a swarm of doubts all buzzing in my skull. She rubs her temples. Hard to get them all to be quiet sometimes. They need to be fed some answers, and I haven't got them all worked out yet. What'll you do? To be square, boy, I don't know. Seer sighs. That's the problem with doubt. I can't even trust that what I'm feeling is true, or if I'm scared of death only because of my brush with the fever, or even what I should do. Is this a passing thing? I don't know. Seer, if you had truly believed in the Dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. Seer stares at you, then nods slowly. Maybe so. Maybe so. She frowns, her face wrinkling up in concentration. I'll have to chew it over some more. You should. It's no small matter. La, now. Enough of me rattling on about my woes. Seer stares at your scars. You look like you've shared a few handshakes with death yourself. Hasn't that changed your views somewhat? Doesn't it make you appreciate life a bit more? Well, my condition is unique. I woke up in the mortuary. I think they mistook me for a corpse and were prepared to bury me. The strange thing is, I think I actually had died and got better. Seer blinks. You're rattling my coffin. It's true. Strange are the ways of the plains, and I've seen too much to throw any tale out with the wash. She studies your face. If it's true, why does this happen? All I know is I woke up in the mortuary with no memory and covered with enough wounds to kill me 3 times over. Now, don't be saying that too loud. She glances around. Most peculiar. Never heard of anything like that. Shame about the memories. Do you have any idea why this happens? Nay, not a one. Never knew anyone who death didn't take. Until now. Perhaps I could ask you questions, eh? Well, you can ask. Seer looks at you with a steely eye, then smiles. Crypt walker. Crypt crawler. I didn't crawl out of any crypt. She frowns, her face wrinkling like crumpled parchment. Right then. What coffin did you crawl out of? She mumbles. One of those shorty splint coffins or hammeries, most like. Gives corpses splinters, I hear. She sniffs. That boy's not been worth a clipped copper since his father died. Who's Hamrus? Hamrus is a coffin breaker. Pardon, coffin maker in the lower ward. Inherited the shop when his father died, much to the shame of every corpse needing a coffin, crypt, or tombstone in sigil. What happened to his father? Those years just for show, boy. He died, she mumbles. His son talked him to death, most likely. That boy's tongue doesn't stop rattling. I'm surprised he doesn't shake his head loose from his shoulders. Joke. Well, it doesn't sound like I'd like to be buried in one of his coffins, then. Can you recommend anywhere else I could lie down and die? You two sound like you have a lot of common, then. Oh, ouch. She... Nice. Some questions. I wanted to ask you about some of the Dustman in particular. No harm in it. Who's on your mind? Actually, I've met a scribe named Dull at the Mortuary. Do you know him? Dull? He was my instructor in the philosophical arts during my early training at the Mortuary, and a crusty fool to boot. He's ill, so my ears tell me. I'll bet he even bored death with his presence. Is he dying? Sicker than a spotted dog he is. Not much sand left in the hourglass for him. One of the embalmers, Ivane. Do you know her? Who? A strange young woman. Poor eyesight, near deaf, talons for hands. Seer shakes her head. Maybe she's a new initiate. I've never heard of her. Right. I must take my leave. Zombie worker? This female corpse is dressed in a heavy burlap shirt covered with food and wine stains. Her lips have been stitched closed, and her arms and legs are wrapped in several layers of bandages. The bandages seem to have been soaked in preservatives to keep the corpse fresh. As a result, the corpse's rotting odor has been replaced with an equally repulsive vinegar smell. As you turn away, you notice Mort staring at you. Huh? Huh? What is it? Did you see that way that cadaverous beauty was staring at me? Mort's teeth chatter as if in anticipation. She was looking for some lucky cutter to thaw her coffin. Please don't start this again. Mort ignores you and becomes thoughtful. I don't really mind the attention, actually. It's just that I like to be seen as something more than just a skull, you know? I have feelings that go beyond my base animal instincts. I want courtship, not some fortnight flaying around the mausoleum. Mort, you are a skull. Nobody can help but see you as a skull. Accept it. Yeah, well, I may be just a skull, but I've got a big heart. Actually, you don't have one of those. What, were you dumped into my life to spit on my dreams and aspirations? Fine, be that way then. I don't have a heart, but I do have a soul. Well, actually, I'm betting you... Forget it. Let's go. Goddamn Mort. The zombie gazes at you with vacant eyes. His lips have been stitched closed, and bandages are wrapped several places around his body. The faint smell of alcohol emanates from the corpse. Great talking to you. Oh. You see a somber, pale-faced Dustman. Not at this time.
I'm gone.
Oh, let's look at the box. Nothing. Zombie workers. The bar is made from a green stone that seems to evaporate any liquid that it touches. Huh. This female corpse is dressed, yeah, repulsive vinegar smell. Dustman. He's got red hair. Nope. And how about you? Nope. Alright. Skeleton worker. Hi. The skeleton turns toward you, rattling as he does so. A number of his bones are held together with leather straps, and a wine-stained green tunic hangs from his shoulders. How about this skeleton, Mort? Will it do as a body? Mort studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, this one's too clean. There's barely any meat left on him at all. Plus, I'd never be able to get all that whitewash off the bones. I don't know if it's too clean. You could stand to learn a thing or two about cleanliness. Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Mort glares at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Burke. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Zombie bodyguard. The zombie gazes at you with vacant eyes. His lips have been stitched closed, and bandages are wrapped several places around his body. The faint smell of alcohol emanates from the corpse. Goodies? No goodies. This looks like a mirror, but there is no reflection of the bar in it. Weird. Okay, let's talk to Emmerich. You see a heavy-set man with dark skin and grim features. He is dressed in dustman robes and is regarding you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one lost. The man's voice is like stone settling. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose? Who are you? I am Emmerich, factotum and initiate of the Fourth Circle. Is this your bar? If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. He pauses, as if trying to emphasize a point. The dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. Emmerich waits. Can you tell me about the Dustman faction? Dustmen seek the true death. Some call it oblivion, but this is incorrect. To Dustmen, the true death is freedom from the chains of this false life. False life? This life that many cling to with their emotions is a false existence. As long as one clings to it, they will continually be reborn into it. One must divest themselves of emotion to escape this cycle. I see. Can you tell me about how your faction is organized? Dustmen are organized into 5 circles. The 5th circle is made of the lowest rank of Dustmen, initiates. The 1st circle is comprised of the highest ranking Dustmen, the ruling body of our faction. I'm searching for a man named Ferret. Have you seen him? I would know why you seek the collector Ferret? He stole something from me. Emmerich remains silent. His gaze is unnerving. He doesn't seem to blink. Why do you want to know my business with Ferret? The collector Ferret has brought many corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies are from. Perhaps I could find out where these... Tell me more. Some are recent dead. They still have their last moments in their eyes. Many more bodies are centuries dead. The dust of ages lie upon their bones. One must ask where these bodies are from. Perhaps I could find out. How would you do such a thing? I would track down Ferret and ask him. If you spoke with the collector Ferret and returned with his answers, you will have done a great service for the Dustman. Find where the dead he brings to us are from, and you will be rewarded. as he brings you from. Your path is your path. Return here when you have the Collector Ferret's answers. One moment. There we go. I've come here in search of a journal. These eyes have seen no journal. Perhaps your search will take you elsewhere. Very well, sorry. Old copper eyes. Before you is a tall, silent figure. He could easily pass for a statue, although the deep furrows in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculptor was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. He looks well over 50 years old, but exactly how much over 50, it's hard to tell. As he slowly turns to look at you, you catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen about them. I have some questions. Says nothing. Never mind. Gravesend, hello. This tiny, wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously, and his eyes dart around the bar like a bird's. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives a slight nod in greeting. Hail, and well met, traveler. You look like one who's just getting their sickle legs about them. He trails off. Pardon me, have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow. No, at least I don't recall you. Maybe I was mistaken. Mortai shakes his head. Well, no matter, no matter. How is it that Mortai Gravesend may help you? Do you seek? He clucks his tongue as he speaks. The contract, perhaps. Contract? The contract? Why? It is but a simple transaction. From the depths of his huge robe, Mortai pulls forth a dusty parchment and a quill pen. I give you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. He smiles, then clucks his tongue. What use will you have for them at that point, anyway? What did the Dustman do with the body? Mortai holds up his hands as if he doesn't know. What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on. It matters to me. Well, if you must know, ofttimes nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the Dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More fools us. Mortai gives a light smile, then looks apologetic. But rarely, there are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced. And then we may have a need for your body. You mean I'll be animated as a corpse and put to work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound good. But no harm is done, no pain. Mortai raises a finger as if to emphasize the point. And there is no danger. In exchange for money you could spend in this life, you merely have to give us something you will have no need of anyway once you have died. Mortai taps his chest. I signed the contract myself, if you must know. I shall have no need of my body when I pass on. I'll consider it. For now, I have some other questions. Can you tell me about some of the patrons here? Old Copper Eyes. Mortai's eyes go cold. The one with eyes of copper. His eyes speak enough about his purpose here. He makes a semicircle over his heart. A member of the Dustman he may be, but I would never sign a dead contract with him. Copper is his soul, and to me, that speaks of an excess of passion for money. He is a Dustman in name only. Are Dustmen not allowed to feel passions? Oh my, yes. Mortai frowns. Too much passion, too much emotion prevents one from reaching the true death. To be passionate runs contrary to the philosophy of our faction. The true death is the state of peaceful oblivion all Dustmen aspire to, and help all others reach. He clucks disapprovingly. Anything that ties a soul to this life is shunned by our faction, whether these ties are possessions or emotions. You see, passions act as an anchor on the soul, preventing it from reaching the true death. He shakes his head. Very bad. Very bad. Initiate Emmerich. A respected initiate of the Fourth Circle. A very wise man. Mortai studies you, slightly worried. What is your business with him, may I ask? Perhaps I can help you instead. Well, I was thinking about signing a contract with Emmerich. Mortai looks visibly distressed. No, no, good sir. He will not offer half the price I will for such a contract. It would be a mere pittance compared to what I could give you. Consider this before you make a hasty decision. How much more will you offer? Mortai clucks his tongue. I'll offer 75, 100 coppers, sir. Much, much more than any other dustman will offer. I'll think about it. Seer. A troubled initiate. I heard she contracted a sickness long ago, and it changed her. Now she seems bitter and angry, and she does not speak to the Dustman beliefs with the conviction she once did. I fear that bitterness is a passion that could jeopardize her position within the faction. Mortai nods as you turn to leave. He has a strange expression on his face. Is there something wrong? Mortai frowns. Forgive me. I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly. I do not recall you. Mortai shakes his head. Well, no matter. Farewell. Yes, farewell, farewell. Mortai studies you as you leave, and you hear him mutter under his breath. Something about that one. Noroch. You see a spindle-thin dustman in dirty black robes. His stiff black hair springs forth from his skull like a crown of spikes, and his leper-white skin is drawn sharply across his skull. He is frowning into his drink and mumbling to himself, "Greetings." The dustman looks up, blinks once, then looks you up and down, studying you. As he studies you, he takes one of his spiked locks and points at himself with it. Noroch. Initiate. Dustman. Guard. I'm here about the posting outside. The dustman looks you up and down. Many troubles have I. Help, can you? A mausoleum awakes. The dead walk. The dead disturbed. The dustman disturbed. Find out what disturbs the undead, and copper coins will I pay. Very well. Where's this
Updated
mausoleum?
my journal.
Noroch nods. Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial. Go north and west from Black Monument. Go to arch in a semicircle over your heart with this finger this make. He wiggles the index finger on his right hand. To the mausoleum, go you will. I'll look into it then. Time for a sleep. Ah, that's better. Awaiting death. Before you is a young dustman with stubble on his chin and dark circles beneath his eyes. He's staring at the wall with a somber expression. Greetings. The dustman doesn't look up. He stares straight ahead as if he is seeing something several leagues beyond the walls of the bar. Can I ask you some questions? The dustman doesn't respond. He keeps staring into the distance. Alrighty then, Mort hisses at you. Let's go, Chief. This dusty might as well be fertilizer. Fair enough, let's get out of here. As you turn to leave, the dustman suddenly speaks, his voice barely a murmur. You have to strain to hear the words. You think he said something about wanting to die. What did you say? The boy's expression does not flicker. Do you want to die? Yes. Do you? Yes. He studies you. Why do you want to die? Because it is denied to me. That alone makes me desire it. The dustman listens silently. After you speak, he does not respond, merely watches you. He looks like he is thinking. Do you want to die? Is that why you asked? Yes. Why don't you want to live? This is living? He bares his teeth and his hands clench. This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue the charade any longer. Death is silent, comforting. Then why haven't you killed yourself already? I've been looking for a means to end my life. Will you kill me? If you lack the conviction to kill yourself, I'm not going to do it for you. It is not a matter of conviction. It is. If you had truly wished to die, you would have found a means to do so already. Waste no more of our time with this idle chatter. Then it must be another matter, then. What is it about living that drives you to hate it? I do not wish to continue the charade any longer. His face wrinkles in disgust. Why would anyone wish to remain in this foul city in the center of a multiverse that feeds on pain and hatred? Death is silent, comforting. That's a bleak outlook. There's a lot more to life than pain and hatred. Maybe, trust me, it's not. The boy seems irritated by the comment. And how do you know? I think I've died before. I don't remember much about it, though. The Dustman blinks, then sneers. You lie. No man can die more than once, not without being resurrected by mighty magics. Resurrected? Resurrected. Brought back to life. The magic required is indeed powerful. Who would be capable of such power? A powerful sorcerer or priest? One of the powers. But not anyone I know. He frowns. And I don't believe you know of anyone of that sort either. Try and kill me then. See what happens. He looks at you skeptically. Nay, I think not, even if I felt the urge to do so. If fear and hesitation governs all your actions, I doubt this existence holds much joy. The Dustman blinks. The first death? What, were you resurrected? I don't know. I've yet to see what lies beyond death or remember it. If I die again, perhaps then I could speak of it. Would you like to see? What do you mean? He looks like he wants to turn away, but he cannot. You can't seriously. Take your hands, twist your neck. Your vision slowly returns. Your death felt different this time. You see awaiting death standing above you. He looks horrified and fascinated. He has propped you into a chair and is looking apprehensively at the other bar patrons. They don't appear to have noticed or have mistaken you for a drunk. Convinced now? Are you one of the walking dead? No. Then what are you? I don't know. But I die and am reborn. Yet you still think? You still feel? Yes, but there is a hollowness. Something is missing, and it eats at you. Never leaves you at peace. To be dead and still think and feel? Will misery never leave a body be? The thought seems to horrify him. Even death is no release. Indeed. Perhaps you should not be so quick to abandon this life before knowing what the next life holds for you. The boy falls silent, thinking. Eventually he turns back up to you. Your words carry weight, sir, and a fresh perspective. I will do well. Do as you said. That is all I ask. Live, grow old, and learn. Farewell. Well, that's an experience and a half. And with that, I think I will call it here. Hope you all enjoyed. And that I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. It's been 3 hours of good times. See you on the next one. Good night.